What's up, everyone? Welcome to the Downtown Royalty Podcast, episode 3. I'm Josiah Botts, drummer for Downtown Royalty. This is Mark Forehand, guitar player for Downtown Royalty. And our guest this week is Mayor Tim Short, Mayor of Wichita Falls, our beautiful city that we live in. We've been in communication for a little while just to get you on here. And I think it was important for us to get you on here mainly because we love this town. We've had Sam Pack on, and obviously as someone who's super solutions oriented, not someone to just shoot holes in everyone's plans. That was my thing and now it's gone, and boohoo blah blah. He's got 500 solutions to every single thing possible. And, as a group of dudes that play in the city, live in the city, and love this city, we took a look around, and it's like, hey man, we need to be a part of the solution. We want to be the people who are leading conversations, having people on. Everyone's got questions, and no one seems to have solutions, and who better to hear it from than the mayor himself.
Amen.
So just kind of kicking things off, where are you from?
Okay.
Who
are you?
What are you about? Give us some of like the background info on you that maybe like the average person here doesn't necessarily know.
Okay. Well, I'm not from Wichita Falls, like we talked about earlier. I'm from Shallow-Water, Texas, little town kind of like Electra. That's just on the other side of Lubbock. So I graduated out there in the very early '80s with 57 people in my class. I know. And I was in the half of the class made the top half possible. Kind of how I talked about that. But Texas Tech was kind of my MSU. It was there in Lubbock, and that's where I went to college. So I was there I graduated from Texas Tech. I'm the first one in my family to graduate from college.
Congratulations.
So my dad was in the Navy. And from Texas, we lived all over the world when I was a little bitty kid. I don't remember any of it. It's like, hey, that's you on the camel, when we lived in Spain or whatever. Yeah. And I was 3 years old. I don't remember any of it. But I remember from when we moved back to Texas and grew up there, and it was just like Mayberry, growing up in a small town where everybody knew everybody. And that's where I learned community. That's where I learned neighbors. That's where I learned, this is you help each other. That's what we all did.
Right.
Went to college there. Went to work for State Farm, and I guess 9 days ago was my 35th anniversary.
Oh, wow.
With the same job. I know.
How about that?
I've had, and I'm married to the same woman. After 35 years too. God love her. So.
Got insurance the same year you got married.
I know. I got the job 2 months before we got married.
That's a good policy.
Yeah, so
that's a good policy.
And I'm still there. So had the opportunity to with State Farm 27 years ago to move my office to Wichita Falls. I had said I wanted to live in Wichita Falls, Lubbock, Amarillo, or Midland, because I had friends from college that were from or lived in every one of those places. So I had immediate connection that I'd spent, all these years making, and I didn't want to start over. So Wichita Falls is the one that happened, and we've been here. Great place to raise my family, and my wife was a teacher at Christ Academy for the last 22 years. So my son is a PA family medicine here at the Barnett Clinic. My daughter-in-law is in radiology, and I have a 1-year-old granddaughter.
Wow.
So
Lots of roots around here.
So so I live here too, but I say I live here on purpose, and
that.
Just like you were saying, I love this city, and that's been what I've said since I decided to run for office, 4 years ago was why, because I love this city, that's what drives me every day, because I want it to be better for everybody here.
Yeah. What was the specific need that you saw, you felt like needed to be filled? You're an insurance guy, just going about your business, being successful, raising your family, grandchildren, whatever,
Right.
obviously before. But what was the need that you saw?
What I saw, it was nothing was happening. How's that?
Yeah.
I'd been here at that point for 24 years or so, and really was experiencing the stagnation, for myself, that when it was such an incredibly huge deal just when they finished Kell, just that it was this incredibly huge deal when Academy got here, that everybody was freaking out when we got a Home Depot, which are wonderful things, but, it happens everywhere else every day. And then we can't get a Chick-fil-A, and now we have 2, and we could probably have 12, and they would all have lines at them. So when I really started noticing that, I didn't know what I could do or what I could help or if I could, and it just but the thing that turned it for me was when the school bond passed. I saw it fail, and I thought, my son was already out of high school by then. I had gone through the WFISD, graduated from Ryder. We traveled to all these other cities playing baseball, and I got to see all the facilities that everybody else had, but we don't. And so it was too late because he was already out of school, and the school bond failed. And I thought, man, that's a shame. Well, they brought it back up. And then I saw all the young families get involved, and they got that thing through. And we were the only city in America that built 2 high schools that year. So I saw a movement coming. It's like a wave of there's people here that say that we can have nice things. There's people here that say that we can do big things. And there's people here that say that we can do more than one thing at once. So, and I'm one of them.
Right.
So, full circle, come back around. Over the years, I had been asked, because of boards and different things that I'd been on and coaching Little League, there'd be a vacancy somewhere, and people would say, hey, are you interested? Have you thought about? And I would go, I don't want anything to do with politics.
Right.
Ever. That's going to kill my business, and because you have to take a stand, and I don't ever want to do that. Finally, it was time. I said I didn't see anybody that was going to do anything about it, and anybody that was going to change the culture of this city, and that's what had to happen. And I said, I don't know if I can do it, but I'm going to die trying.
Yeah.
So.
Now, I'm kind of like, I'm so oblivious to a lot of the, hot ticket issues.
Okay.
Although all I hear is people get upset. And like when the school bond thing happened, I don't really know anything about it. I mean, I remember hearing a lot of people upset that, it passed, that failed, there's a prospect of something.
Right.
If you could, I think this is always an interesting thing to do. If you could present what were the things that they were upset about, that these people on the other side, and if you could steelman what those issues were, because I'm so ignorant. I don't know any of this.
No, you're asking the right questions. People were upset, and they say that that it didn't really pass, that it was a rigged election, that it didn't really pass, but it was shoved through. They showed them the ballots, they showed them everything. It was signed off on. I don't know if it's the Secretary of State or who, signs off on the county election or the school bond election, but it passed. We built the 2 schools. They're here. What happens now? You go back and prove that it didn't? Do you tear them down? What do you do? I wasn't involved in that. I was just a voter, who supported it and who voted for it. And I think that people were surprised because it had not passed, because they didn't want to pay for it. I think it was 162 million. It may have been 62 million. I'm not sure which one, but they didn't want to pay for it. Didn't want the taxes to go up. Didn't want to have to pay for the schools. So that's why they didn't want it. Right. And there was also, and I understand this part, the sentiment of going to the old high or to Ryder and not wanting to replace them and not wanting to do it, because the school district, which I'm not involved in, changed everything. Mascots, traditions, fight songs, colors, everything changed. And I thought, okay, if we're gonna rip that Band-Aid off, but they asked the students that were coming up, what do you want to be? What colors do you want to be? What do you want? they were so involved in everything. And if you've been through those schools, you need to go if you haven't.
Yeah, I haven't. No.
They are incredible.
Where'd you go to high school?
I went to McNeil High School, but that's down in Austin.
Oh, I was like, where the hell's McNeil High School?
You need a tour of these. I'd
love to. I'd love to talk to the band programs.
Yeah.
One of my big dreams is to do a song with like a local band, because I was in marching band and stuff like that for a while. Like I've seen some of the like compilations and things, but I want to do it here, with everything. We can do that here in this town too. So I would love to meet the band directors, come out, take a tour, whatever, talk to those kids, whatever we can do.
I can make that happen.
I'd love to.
Yeah.
I know them. I've been through them several times.
We'd love that.
What you'll like to hear is that, so we have, and those schools are identical, brick for brick. They're just different colors, but they are brick for brick, the same building, because that's the way it had to be.
Right.
Yeah.
So the band halls, we have the largest band hall in the state of Texas.
Cool.
And we have 2 of them because they're identical, and they're so cool. You can stand at one corner and just talk like we're talking now, and you can hear the acoustics are perfect in that band hall. It is incredible.
Awesome. Wow.
And the stage where they do their plays and they do everything, largest in the state of Texas. We have 2 of them. Cool. And they're incredible. So I'd love to be able to go in there and show you guys those.
Dude,
sounds like a great time.
Let's set that up. We're so stoked to do that.
They're one of the kids love them. Yeah. Everything's been great. They're about to have their 2nd graduating class now. So
cool.
they're state of the art. They're wonderful, and I didn't have anything to do with them. But they got me going, and they lit my fire because I saw that people were primed for change. We can do some things. I saw at the city level that just in my dealings and knowing people in town, some things needed to change. There had been, we did things because we had always done them. We were afraid to do new things. We had a big thing was economic development.
Right.
We were, through no fault of anybody, I'm not throwing anybody under the bus, they, our economic development boards really working to get business to come here to set up shop and to be a part of Wichita Falls. And they would entice them with money, tax abatements. We're basically trying to pay people to move here for the promise of some jobs or the promise of doing things. It never worked. They didn't want to be here in the first place. It never worked. And we got taken a couple times by a couple different places that it never materialized. The business, the jobs, those things didn't happen. So they were gun shy about, and I don't blame them, from trying it again or from doing anything. And I said we have to change that mindset.
Right.
And we have to go. I'm in business. If your phone's not ringing, you better be knocking on doors. You better be calling out, or you
Make
better
sure
be
other
going
people's
to get
are.
them. And our phone wasn't ringing, so I had to get elected to do it, and then hit the road and go find some of these places. And Ron Kitchens was the head of the chamber at that time. And so I spent more time with him than I did my family, for the last 2.5 years. But we traveled and we went places and we met people and we talked to some folks that, were interested in doing business in Wichita Falls. One of them that we went to especially, and it was kind of the same scenario everywhere we went, but we called, asked if we could, hey, can we come up? They usually think you want to do a Zoom call. I hate Zoom calls.
Yeah.
Hey, we're going to come by. Just give us an hour or whatever, before lunch. They go, oh, okay. So we go. It's a different state. We go up there. We're expecting to have an hour, from like 10:30 to 11:30. We go in there, visit with the guy. He calls some of his other people that work for him in the conference room. We're having a good talk like we are tonight. He says, let's go to lunch. I'll take y'all to lunch. So he takes us to lunch. You get a burger, you talk to people. And then when we're leaving, he said, so why were y'all here? And we said, well, because we wanted you to think about us when the next city shows up at your door and wants to talk to you about something. And he said, nobody does this.
Yeah.
Right.
Nobody does.
Who does
this.
that?
Who does that?
Yeah,
People like us do things like this,
Yeah,
and we're moving at an unsustainable pace. But and we're working on a pretty good deal with that person to develop a pretty good entertainment venue here. So I know. I don't want to be too vague, but I have to be.
Right.
But they
New things coming.
It's okay. We've got the mayor's number.
It was meetings like that. It was just meetings like that.
Yeah.
Visiting with, because it's this, man. It's the networks and the relationships, and those people end up in your phone contacts, and maybe we've had one that it wasn't a good fit for them, because you check each other out.
Yeah.
And our city wasn't a real good fit for this other guy, but he had a buddy that does this other thing that's also coming here, and he called him and said, "You got to talk to these guys," and then they come to see us, so our phone starts ringing.
Right.
But you gotta plant the seeds.
Yeah.
The best time to plant a tree is today or 20 years
Yeah.
ago.
Yep.
So we had to do that, and that took a complete paradigm shift for everybody in this city.
Yeah.
And if we're talking about, I don't know if you're going to get to some of the questions that
Yeah,
people
yeah.
are asking.
Real quick,
Because
anyone who's streaming us live right now, if you have any questions for the mayor, drop them in the comments, and then here towards the end of when we're talking, we'll do like a live stream Q&A. Obviously, keep it respectful because we're not gonna be fucking pricks.
It's okay.
But above and beyond all that, any questions? If you can answer them, he'll answer them.
I didn't want to answer some of these ahead of time if we were going to get to them in a little bit.
Yeah. So there's a few things that we'll probably get to down the road, but you might answer someone's questions, or they might hear your explanation and then be like,
thanks.
Bullshit. Or whatever. But like I said, anyone streaming right now, I was going to do this right off the top, but I totally forgot. Drop your questions, send us a DM, text, whatever it is. But drop it in the comments would be easiest, so we can read it off straight from the live stream.
Yeah.
Real quick before we go kind of like down the road, because we kind of talked about what it was like running up to kind of becoming mayor. What was the thing that kind of like lit your fire? Like, man, I think I could do this.
Yeah.
What was like day 1 to day 90 like?
Yeah.
Where, because everyone has what was it, the Mike Tyson quote? It's like everyone has a plan until they get punched in the mouth. Right. And so it's like, what was it like for you to go from, okay, you know what, man, I'm going to campaign for this thing. I believe in this city,
I won. Let's
operationally,
do this.
now I'm the mayor.
Right.
What was that like?
It was crazy.
Yeah.
It was insane. It was like your first show where you actually just killed it, after that show. Okay, so we were very excited. We were very happy that we won because, man, we worked really hard.
Yeah.
But the realization then, the next day, I slept like a baby that night. But the next day, at a meeting downtown, you got to go down there, and you got to get your key. You got to give you a laptop. You have to get, all the
Day
administrative
stuff,
things, like new employee guy.
Right.
You have to. So I'm supposed to meet them down there, and I'm driving, and I've made this drive 1,000 times, from my house downtown, and I'm going to the city hall, and every stoplight and every that I'm sitting at, I would look over and I would go, I'm responsible for that. I'm responsible for that. That light's not working, and I'm responsible for that, and that manhole is off the thing, and I saw 27 of those things, different eyes. It was like being a parent for the first time. When you look at that baby, you are responsible for everything. And so, plus, my phone was melting down and exploding with people, but it was really awesome. It was really cool. Overwhelming. People say drinking from a fire hose.
Yeah.
Not quite. It was more like, trying to change your flat tire on your truck while you're driving it, down the highway.
There's no way you can prepare for it, but when it happens, you know what to do when it comes back around.
You cannot. So, and the staff was great. They helped. They had all the things ready. You sign here. Here's the official, things that you have to do. That was all easy, but just taking a deep breath and understanding that, I've been in charge of a lot of boards and commissions in my business and, a lot of the things for a lot of years. And so it wasn't, but there's, 1,300 people that work for the city. So wanting to meet everybody, talk to everybody, set up those meetings with all the 12 different departments, and that was the first thing I did, because I knew them all, had been down there, had met with them during the campaign. Graciously, they had agreed to, but to be able to now, go with Russell from Public Works and go, hey, let's drive out to the dump. Let's go to the transfer station, because I have a couple questions.
Yeah.
I want to see the dump. Let's drive out there. I haven't been out there in a while, and now to
How
see
lucky
it
are we to have
from,
that, by the way?
Cool.
But anyways,
To see how that operates. I want to see the inside of the reuse station. And drink that glass of water. It comes out the end of it. So it was really neat to be on the other side of it than just getting a tour of things. And so I got to do that with every department from finance on down. And it was, they helped take away a lot of the overwhelming part. And then it was, from there, it's just customer service. It's the public that I've been in the customer service business for 35 years.
Right.
So I was used to that. And really, nobody knew me immediately, it seemed like, for about the first couple weeks or the first month, like they do in restaurants and that line at United and, now. So, so there was a brief 2-week honeymoon period, I guess, and then
Avalanche.
So and
surf's up, dude.
And you eat that elephant one bite at a time, because I had to take a deep breath. I had to go back to my office, and I went back to my yellow pad, and I went, these are the things that I said I was going to do, so now let's do them. So you start making those phone calls. I need to meet with you, this department. I need to talk about how we're going to change this ordinance. I've been talking about this for a year. I need to see what are the steps? How do I get this on the agenda? What needs to be done? And went through those check marks, and there were 4 or 5 different things that we wanted to accomplish, right off.
What were those?
Because we said we were. One of them was just, I said I was going to take the public comment at all of our meetings. It was at the end of a meeting. And I was going to move it to the front, because our meetings are at 8:30, first and third Tuesday in the morning, right? Well, now the first thing after the prayer and the pledge, we do public comment. So somebody doesn't have to sit there for 3 hours through an entire meeting and then show up and then stand up there and go, hey, I got this pothole, or I have whatever they're going to tell you about, but they've just wasted their whole, now it's lunch, and they've sat there all morning. So now we do that up front, and good or bad, that's when we do it.
Sure.
So, I said the only thing that I have not been able to accomplish, I thought it was a great idea that we'd have evening meetings. I campaigned, I said, hey, let's have some meetings at 6 o'clock at night. Yeah. We want the general public to show up. I thought that was a great idea. It was a horrible idea. We've had, I want to say, let's say 20 different meetings at night. Not council meetings. We've had special meetings. We've had town halls. We've had, water department meetings. We've done all of these things, and they're all, usually about 6 o'clock at night. Nobody comes.
Not surprised.
Nobody.
Try playing a gig at 10.
Nobody.
Yeah.
Exactly.
It's the same. We play the same game.
There's more city staff that are there than there are citizens.
Right.
There'll be 3 or 4. And we're not exaggerating. Even at the town halls, it's hard to get more than 10 just to show up. Yeah. And they're the ones that wear you out wanting things done at night, but they won't show up. So I wasn't able to get that accomplished. And I don't see the need in it. We're very accessible. Our meetings are streamed live. Right. We're available, and you can see everything. And do you ever have a dentist appointment?
No, I don't go to the dentist.
You ever have to go to the doctor? You ever have to do? Make time. It's the first or third, Tuesday of the month. It's at 8:30. You know exactly when it's going to be. The agenda's printed out. You can tell if there's something that's lights a fire
It's
in
your
you.
chance to say something.
You can be there,
Right.
or get a hold of us a couple days before and go, man. And people do this, and they'll go, man, I really don't understand what this is. Can you explain this to me?
Mm-hmm.
And then they're for it or against it.
Right.
You don't know. But so and there's plenty of us to explain things beforehand. So
I think that a lot of people don't realize that how casual and impactful those meetings can be. You know, everyone thinks, oh, you have to be like this. Like, I had this mentality of them before I started going to a couple of them, and I've done a couple of proclamations and stuff. And it's so casual. People come in there, and it's like, it's almost like being at church on Sunday morning there for a little while, because you see all the people that you know, you shake a couple hands, you have some coffee, you sit down, and then you take care of business. You do that. But here's the thing I think a lot of people don't know. You can leave, and that's 100% acceptable. Like so many local businesses here, and they come for their proclamation or for the part that they want to hear, or they're not able to stay for the whole thing. So they stay and they leave. And if you want to leave, you can live stream it. You know,
it's totally okay.
The only excuse for not being a part of that kind of stuff is yourself.
Yeah.
You know, it really is, because you're there, you want to answer questions, you know, but it's a lot of that. Well, why weren't you here at this? You know, they want you to be right there in front of their face, and as soon as they see you in line at United, they want to ask you 10,000 questions. Well,
and that's okay too.
It is, it is, you know, but that's why we have these city council meetings, and they are casual. They're for you to get your voice out there, and you can leave when you want to leave. You make them mad, or they make you mad. Like, go leave. Like
they do, and it's totally fine. You know, I mean, that's why it's right first thing at 8:30. Usually by 8:45, you know, I mean, if you start to work at 9, you're gonna make it. Yeah. Most things in this city don't open till 9.
If you're late, that's okay too. So, just be quiet when you come in.
Yes. So you know, but there is ample opportunity. The other thing that I talked about campaigning, that this is when I really got frustrated, was and learned mostly about the speed of government. And it was we had a roll-off ordinance where those dumpsters that companies bring you, you know, that we've got 10 or 15 different companies around, and you need a dumpster, you know, and they'll what size, you know, I'm cleaning out my aunt's house, and they'll bring it, and then they'll come and get it and haul it off, and you pay them. Well, the city, before I got there, 2 years before I got there, they decided that they wanted to get in the roll-off business. It's a revenue generator, right? Yeah, so they bought roll-offs, and what they did is then they passed an ordinance that said that all the companies that were already doing it couldn't do it anymore. Residentially, they could still do the hospital and they could still do the commercial, but they couldn't do the residential. And I went, well, that's wrong. Right. You know, these guys have been operating this way for 15 years. Yeah. This is really wrong. Right. So that's the first thing I was going to change. It took 8 months. 8 months from the first meeting I had on that to get the ordinance rewritten, to get it changed, and to get it on the agenda. I'm the mayor. It took me 8 months to get that rewritten and to get a vote on it. And it was unanimous to change it. So, and then all those guys, you know, were able to operate. The only thing they agreed to is that they'll use the city dump. They were using it anyway. Right. Yeah. So, you know, they said, well, they're taking trash in the city and they're hauling it to, you know, Iowa Park or to, you know, to the other dump. So we're missing out on that. So the big compromise, the big agreement was, will you take the trash to the city dump? Yes, we will. Okay. And we're done.
Why that's important?
Yeah. Do what?
Can you explain why that's important?
It's revenue.
Yeah, why is that important?
We make money.
The trash, why the city getting the trash is important instead of it going Iowa Park or Burke.
We make money on it.
Yeah.
It's
money
a revenue,
stays in the city.
That is a revenue generator. You know, we're in the trash business. We're in the water selling business. Right. People talk about water. I saw a lot of questions on that as well that we'll get to, I'm sure. But we sell water to 15 different municipalities. The prison, Burke, Iowa Park, Henrietta, you know, I'll probably get some of these wrong, Holiday, all of those places, we sell the water to them. So, and you know, that helps keep our water bills where they are, you know, because, and Vitro, you know, everything in the line right there, you know, Sealed Air, you know, all the places that are lined up there on I-44, they buy our water. And that's a good thing, you know. That is a revenue generator. So it's not in your property tax. That helps pay for sewer and water and pipes and the infrastructure and the things that are being done. So you're not paying for it, you know, in your property taxes. So it's just one of those things. That was and then the biggest thing that came after that. So after we had an 8-month internal battle to get that done, that's when the real change happened, and it, you know, was right at the top. We had to change city managers. So
Why is that?
we were going to change the culture of everything.
Gotcha.
And that's where, unfortunately, it had to begin, was at the top. So we had to find a way. The culture was going to be that I envisioned anyway, was that we were going to find a way to yes. You were going to call and say that, call permitting and say that you were going to put a shed in your backyard, and they would say no. This is a terrible example. But they say no for some crazy reason and something that, well, without going, how can we make that work? How could you do it? You can't do it the way you're talking about.
Right.
And here's why. But if you were to do it this way, it would make sense. And then you can absolutely
And we
do
would
it,
say yes.
and your permit's $25 and knock yourself out.
Right.
So it might be a drainage issue. If you put it here, it gets your neighbors, all messed up. But anyway, but those things weren't ever explored. The people at the city are our neighbors. The city's always an easy target, right? They're our friends, they're our neighbors. They work here. They're wonderful, hardworking people, and they just were not really empowered to say yes, to work towards solution, to be solution prescription oriented like you are.
Right.
They weren't. They are now. In fact, I said, we're going to be the Chick-fil-A of cities. Thank you for calling the city of Wichita Falls. How may I help you?
Right.
So when and we're not there yet, but we're gaining on it. When we redesigned municipal auditorium for City Hall, when you walk in the door, first thing you see is a help desk. When you walk into the permitting office down in public utilities, help desks. Manned help desks where there's 3 or 4 of them where people are sitting there and you're not going, should I be on the 4th floor or what?
Right.
Hello, ringing the bell at the front. You're not doing that anymore. They're sitting right there. What can I help you with? Well, I need a permit for this electrical work that's going on at my house. Okay. And they print it out and $50 or whatever it is, and you're done. And I'm oversimplifying it.
Sure.
But now there's somebody and there's people that are answering questions.
Yeah,
and I think that one of the questions had been, one of the first ones was, what's the thing that you would look back 10, 20 years from now and say,
Tracy's question.
was that
His girlfriend.
That's my girlfriend.
Shout out
yeah, that's her
Tracy.
question. Yeah.
On the live
Tracy.
stream.
Thank you. That changing the culture, and you can actually feel it now. People tell me there's still bugs in the system. There's still, every yes isn't always. Sometimes no's the answer, but there's a lot more folks down there that want to help, and because you're their friends and neighbors too. They want to find a way to yes, and they're empowered to get there. And to me, that's the way that any successful organization will run. I learned it. My brother-in-law is an athletic director in West Texas, and he told me that, say he's got 200 coaches working for him down to the junior high level, and every one of those coaches is empowered to make the decision on the spot. Yeah. With a parent, with a player, with a teacher, with a principal, with whatever, they're empowered to do it. Yeah. It may end up in my office, and I may end up talking to them along with the parent, but I have their back, and I will tell them, maybe we should have done it this way. It may be a training opportunity, but they don't get, you don't yell at them. You don't, you empower those people to make that. And he said it took like one school year for the word to basically get out to where they actually believed them, and everything runs so smooth. And the phone's not ringing off the wall. And when that 7th grade coach explains to that parent why their son is on the B team, it's okay. It doesn't. The first phone call isn't to the athletic director.
Sure.
So,
yeah.
I mean, I took that to heart and have preached that, downtown. Yeah. So and so far that part has worked. Yeah. Our new city manager is a wonderful young man who is so smart. And has the best stories. You need to have him on. His stories.
What's his name?
Jeff Jenkins.
Jeff Jenkins.
Yeah. Hey.
Come on, Jeff.
His
Come
stories
see us,
are
Jeff.
His stories are longer than mine.
Good.
but they're usually
we got all night.
To
but
do
they're really
analogies,
funny,
him and
yeah.
I can sit here
Yeah,
forever.
He will kill time, but and they do have a point. But he's just such a smart guy, and is customer service driven and wants to help people, and that's what you got to have, at the head of your organization.
Yeah.
So I'm so proud that's the one, and Tracy asked that question.
Yeah.
That it won't be some remodel of something or a business that's here or anything. It will be because we changed the culture. So what we look like 10 and 20 years from now is happening right now.
Yeah, say that's
I'm
one of
so proud of it.
I mean, I'm going to talk about culture for a minute because
that's what I was gonna
you know,
say.
you've got
That's one of the hot points lately too.
Well, you've got the culture of the city, right?
Yeah.
How it runs.
Yeah.
As far as like an organization, but
Yeah.
then you have like the culture of the city and something that we both care about. And Michael and Files as well. They're both kind of out. But one of the things that we want to do is, like we talked about with Sam, it's like, how do we turn this city into, the hub, the entertainment hub of North Texas and
Culture. That's it. It's mentality.
What is it that we can do to help? What are steps? Because once again, prescriptions oriented, solutions oriented, be the change you want to see kind of person. Like, what
These
is
are
it?
T-shirts.
Yeah.
Somebody writing this down? Yeah, I mean,
Chat.
okay.
But like, what is it that that we could do, and then B, what does that look like from your perspective as the mayor?
You can do a lot more than I can. You're deeply involved in it. With the arts and with music and with people that are in the right age to make those changes. People like me, old people like me, are a little bit usually more resistant to changing things. You're the change coming up that folks need to see. You're maybe more open to some things, ideas. So I believe it begins with you and even younger with your kids.
Well, it's like we were talking about Sam. It's like downtown development.
Yes.
Downtown royalty.
Right. Yeah. I know.
Come on, man. Come on.
I know.
Not and that's
Coincidence?
Yeah, we.
Yeah. Well, it's why Art Walk was so important.
Yeah, it was fantastic. By the way, me and Mark went there. It was awesome.
It was awesome.
Yeah.
And
they were live. They were live streaming. Yeah.
When you have 8,000 people or more down there, average, at an Art Walk, well, you don't stop doing it.
Nope.
That is immediately don't stop doing. That is such a vital part of what we have to do and have to recognize. So I understand why downtown development can't do it anymore. I love those folks and appreciate all the work that they did to get it started.
Absolutely.
Everything that Sam did to get that idea off the ground.
Right.
And
that's the thing with good projects is they're going to grow. Good cities will grow, and you have to embrace the growth and be like, we have to change. There are some good changes that we can make to make the same thing that you love keep going and not lose that hometown nostalgia.
It grew organically. It didn't grow because it was advertised and marketed and all.
Bunch of money sunk into it. Yeah.
Grew because
there was a need,
loved
and the need was filled.
Yes, and folks love it. And my favorite part, I've told everybody that when you're down there, you just don't see everybody. Nobody's on their phone. Yep. Everybody's talking to their neighbors.
Yeah.
Everybody's meeting new people. That is, to me, it's community. It's like what I grew up in, and it's community, and that is the heart of our city. To see everybody down there. Not everybody's a musician. Not everybody can appreciate art, but to be down there because that's where everybody is, and that's where your connections are made. And I love the oil. Yeah, and the food.
Everybody's got to eat.
Yeah, I love the food, as you can tell. But it's just a great event, and I'm just was happy to be a part of. We knew that wasn't going to go away, but we're so happy as to how it's turning out. There were probably a few bugs. We'll get them worked out.
Good.
Moving forward.
Yeah.
But
Right.
Everything is nothing's there. It wasn't perfect before, and it's not going to be perfect going forward. And we may actually, depending on the weather, we may be able to do it in November and December too. So,
Sure. Yeah.
For everyone that wasn't at the Art Walk, it felt like
we're really hoping to be able to do that.
On this team,
So,
I guess they did a good job taking over.
oh gosh,
Yeah.
they were perfect for this. Yeah, well, it is shut down in July.
Christmas in November.
Yeah, there won't be one in July. But if we can tie this into City Lights Parade, or into that,
Yeah.
uh,
That'd
and,
be
and
huge.
would have to end downtown, would end at the art walk down there.
Mhm.
So
I love that idea.
that may be weather driven, I don't know, but it's on the table right now. So it'll happen, at least for the next 6 months, and we'll skip July.
Love that.
Yeah, I was
Yeah,
saying
that's
for the
so
people
cool.
that didn't get to go to Art Walk that have been before, it feels like they took what was really really big and like
Yeah.
mainly everything was happening in like a small. It always has been. Everything essentially happening here, but like there's like scragglers that are out here, and it's just kind of like it just pushed everything that was spread out
Yeah.
into a centralized area, so you don't miss anything.
Yeah.
You don't miss anything. You see everybody, you see everything. It's very efficient, but there's a lot of people. But there's still room to move around. Everybody's very respectful.
Yeah.
Like families are out there, high school kids are out
Yeah.
there.
Yeah.
Like
And it was on purpose. I mean,
it
so
felt great.
it had to have the thing. Art walk was here, and then everything else was all around
Right.
it. And
Right.
It was so they couldn't get it insured. There was no perimeter. You'd have 8,000 people and
Yeah.
3 police officers. You couldn't swing a dead cat without hitting a police officer out there.
Oh, yeah, it
The
was
other night.
Every 10 minutes.
Yeah.
We live stream all the time. Every
Yeah.
10 minutes.
And the police were out there having a good
Oh,
time,
man.
which I think is a cool thing. Is
Exactly.
part of the
Sure.
community and the culture too.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So
there,
many.
There were 10
Yeah.
or more. That were out there.
They're smiling, laughing,
Yep.
saying hi. What do you got going on over here? Just being a part of the community.
Yeah, we did that on purpose.
That's great.
To Potencia, they
the way
did
it
that
should
on
be.
purpose.
Yeah.
It had to be secure.
Yeah.
It had to have a more defined perimeter.
Yeah.
We wanted to get the food trucks away from the restaurants, and then have it all cleaned up when it was over.
Yeah.
And those things were accomplished, because the business owners,
Yeah,
that are
pat
so
yourself on the
gracious,
back for
that
that.
are
That's not an
down
easy
there,
thing done.
they were coming in the next morning and picking up everything, that was on.
Yeah.
And you can't have that. So
Sure.
everything was
Yeah.
cleaner than before it started.
Sure.
So I was
Yeah.
really proud of that too. That was,
Yeah.
that was
Great.
a good
The
thing.
the big thing too about having the police there, is, communal policing, right?
Yeah.
I mean, the police have to reflect the community. That's why the beat was instantiated in the first place
Yeah.
back in the days. Because
Exactly.
if a police officer's walking a beat, then he becomes a part of that community.
They were
People say, "Hey,
approachable.
there's Officer Johnson. Here he is," and
Yeah.
I think that's a super important thing to drive home. Is
They're approachable.
they're not our adversaries.
No.
They're not the boogeyman to come to lock you in the clink.
We had the boogeyman on our live stream down there.
we,
Oh.
yeah, there were folks last year too that unfortunately, because you kind of got a park outside,
Yeah,
and there were people that I had some calls that folks were a little nervous walking to their cars, So that's why
Sure,
we had to get it a little more defined. And
Everything that
provide
was done
some more
made
security.
sense. You know.
Yes.
It's all things like, oh, that makes sense.
Yeah.
And that's what the best things. The best marketing is the most simple, and it's like, oh, well, I see why that was done.
Sure.
And all we and they had to really do was just let people know it's back. I mean, there was no billboards and social media helps, but people know if you can't find something to do here, you're just not looking. There's plenty of stuff.
I've done some event planning in the past, and I think so many people get hung up on, well, we want to do this, but we can't because of this hurdle. And they take that hurdle, and that's the only thing they see. And it's always just, we can't because. It's like, you need to figure out how you can, think bigger than just the box you're in. Just be like, well, we might not be able to do that, but for this guy over here, that's a Monday morning.
Yeah.
This is the kind of stuff he waits for. He dreams for this, the kind of challenge and opportunity. So you don't have to put everything on your back. That's something I struggle with, is be like, oh, well, I'll take that on. I'll clean up after the art walk. I'll make sure it's done because I believe in it and I think it's something that's good.
Yeah.
And I think there's something to be said about, yes, we should put things on our back, but we should also be like, hey, Tim, can you take out this trash for me? Well, that's the mayor. I don't want to ask him. No. We are all a part of a community. We all work together. That's a police officer. Those are people in your community, and we
This is
work
our
together.
city.
Right.
It's our
It's
city.
our city.
Yeah. There's
Exactly.
decentralized command, which is basically exactly the same thing you talked about, empowering everybody to have a stake in decisions, so that everything doesn't need to go to the tippy top, and then empowering people to be able to be a part of that, right?
Trust your people.
Yeah, if Tim's the one taking out the garbage every time, then there's 50 people over there who lose the opportunity to be able to serve the community.
And it turns in, it's like your Sunday school class where 20% of the people is doing 80% of the work.
Yeah.
those volunteers burn out, man.
Yeah.
You can wear people out with
Yeah.
good people with good hearts that want to be there and that want to serve, or they get sick, or they're out of town, and they can't be there to help. So what
Yeah.
do we do?
What do we do now? And everyone runs
Mark
around.
can't be there. What do we do?
They run around
You
with
know?
like chickens with their head cut
Yes.
off when that does happen. Well, Tim's not here.
Right.
What do we?
Yeah.
He
What-
always turns the lights
What-
on for
yeah,
us.
I
Like,
know.
Yeah,
I
or
know.
when you're not when you're not facilitating that culture of bringing the next people up and the next crop up to empower people to do those things, so another person can move on to another thing. Then it like de facto becomes this person's role. Like, oh, you're the guy who turns the lights on. It's
And
like,
that,
well,
and
no,
that happens
like,
very easily.
we need to train people
Yeah.
to turn the lights on so that he can go and do this and learn that. So that person can go and learn to do this. So like we're creating
Right.
a culture, we're creating a community. I think
I've seen that happen at Little League. He's the guy that always mows the fields. He's the guy who, runs that. He's the guy who waters everything. I've seen that.
yeah.
And there needs to be another guy.
Yeah.
There's got to be somebody else that learns how to help.
One more thing.
And some people don't like to delegate. Delegating's
Sure.
hard.
just because he's mowing with a smile on his face doesn't mean that he'd be doing it with a bigger smile on his face.
Yeah.
If somebody else was weed eating and mowing, we're
Right.
helping him out. you
Yeah,
know?
Yeah.
I think there's two sides to that, right? It's I think some people don't like to delegate because they don't know how to delegate.
Yeah.
And then other people don't like to delegate because they feel like if I give this up, it's all I got.
Right.
And it's like, no, there's so much more for you. If
there's-
you learn to let go.
There's power in letting go. And
Exactly.
There's
Yeah.
power in showing, training somebody up
Yeah.
and letting them make mistakes
Mhm.
because you didn't do it right the first time
Right.
or the first 10 times.
Sure.
You
Yeah.
learned and you got it
Yeah.
right. And now, they get the benefit of learning from your mistakes and
Yeah.
things if you'll teach them right.
Yeah.
It's easier said than done. But there's a lot of power in delegating
Yeah.
like that.
So
Yeah.
just one more thing before we go to these kind of live Q&As.
Yeah.
We have some of them in
Okay.
the live stream. We'll hit some of these ones on the live stream. Then we'll go back to some
Sure.
of the posts we've made and the personal messages we've gotten.
Yeah.
What is like the reality like behind the scenes running things in Wichita Falls? And how many smoke-filled rooms have you been in?
How many? Well, I haven't been in any smoke-filled rooms anymore.
Rats. Yeah, right.
Hey, it's just like this.
Yeah.
It's like sitting
Yeah.
here and usually informal. Here's ideas. Here's what we can do. Here's why we can't do that.
Sure.
I
Yeah.
mean, here's how we can do. Well, I was thinking we could do it this way. No, not. I think that my favorite part of the room now, when we get to sit around and talk about things, is everybody's equal. Everybody gets to present.
Yeah.
It's very informal. Nobody's afraid in there. You don't have to raise your hand. Everybody talks about things. And it's just a conversation because you have to go. I mean, you check your ego at the door. You can't
Exactly.
say, "Hey,
Yeah.
I'm the only one that's going to have a good idea here."
Mhm.
Now, you may have a great idea, and you can fight for it, but it may not make sense. It may make great sense. You have to be open to listen. Maybe it can be tweaked. Maybe it shouldn't be.
Right.
And I think that's been my favorite part is
Yeah.
how open. And I mean, if we could smoke cigars in there, I would, but we can't.
We can smoke cigars in here.
I know. Okay.
Yeah.
All right. We'll do that next time.
Something that's really interesting to me about talking to you so far is how you're talking about the same stuff that we're like, how similar being in a band is versus being in the mayor.
Right,
And
yeah.
like we,
Problem
mainly going to the
solving.
point where you were talking about, we're a trash company, we're a water company, we're
Yeah.
this, we're that, we have to invest in ourselves.
Yeah.
It's the exact same
Well,
for
it's-
us,
yeah.
and we've had so
Mhm.
many conversations
Yeah.
about this ad nauseum. Some points where where the 20% burns
Yeah,
out,
yeah.
but there's so much that we have to do to be a band, and like I don't know if a lot of people know this, that we have our own LLC. We are
Yes.
a
Yeah,
local
we're a
Yeah.
business.
small
Yep.
business here
Mhm.
in Wichita Falls,
Right.
trying to make it just like everybody else
Yep.
is. We're doing that. We weren't able to do the media stuff on our own with everything else, so we reached out to people
Yeah.
that could.
Yeah.
Shout out to these
Yeah.
guys behind
Yeah.
the
By the way, Jeremy Smith, MK1 Imagery, the Absolute Man, and Matt Hart FPV,
100%.
and
Thank you.
Cinema, the
Look at
absolute
that.
legends. Everybody, if you need any video needs at all, production needs, hit them up, please. I'm telling you, they absolutely fucking rule.
They're killing it.
Like you were saying, Mark.
We're not trying to like hold this little treasure like this is the greatest kept secret, you know. But it is.
No.
There's so much that we have to do, and
You solve
you were talking
problems and
about-
you pay your bills.
you're going out and you're reaching out to, well, who else does this? You know, well, no one else is doing this. Well,
Right.
why are you doing it? Because it's the right thing to do.
Exactly.
You know, people used to go, like when I was 15 years old and mom and dad are, you need to go get a job. You can't just play baseball and go to church all the time. You need to go get a job. You know, you go out, you apply, and then you apply, and as a kid, you're like, where's the Xbox controller at? They're like, hey, did you call about that job? Mom, I just put in the application yesterday. We'll call them, tell them my name is Mark Forehand. I put in an application yesterday. I was just wondering if you'd seen it yet. And if you don't hear from them in 3 days, you know what you do? You
Call
show
them
up
back
at the
or
business
go-
and you say,
Yeah.
hi, I'm Mark Forehand. I put in an application a couple days ago. I just wanted to know if you had a chance to look it over.
Yeah.
You know, I'm not saying you have to hire me. I'm just saying, hey, I want you to put a handshake with the face that's going along with it, because if you come into me and all I've seen is your resume and this, that, and the other, I'm like, oh, that looks a little, I don't know about this. But you come in and you shake my hand, you look me in the eyes, and we can talk for 30 seconds. All right, now we got a starting point. You know,
Well,
now that's a resume.
7 seconds is the longest is that a resume usually, you know, sits in somebody's hands, you know.
Right.
Okay.
Yeah.
If you're lucky.
Yeah, you're lucky if it even makes it in the hand.
I hire people. I mean, you know, I'm fully staffed.
Yeah.
But,
No,
I'm fully staffed right now.
I'm good.
But you're right. It's the ones that show up, that shake your hand, that show up on time. Oh man. Woo. If you're getting interviews at 10 o'clock, you need to be there at 9:50.
Of course.
You know,
I've
not
had people
10
tell
minutes
me
early,
on
late.
time is
gigs,
late,
they're like, look, Mark, I know you want to be a musician.
Yeah.
You're a great singer, you're a great guitar player, but you start on time.
Yeah.
You're not messed up on drugs.
What's
and
wrong
you're
with
not
you?
drunk when
Are
it's
you-
done. Like, are you sure this is the right
Are
field
you
for
even
you?
actually a musician?
Yeah.
You know, like,
You know?
Wow.
what's the deal?
That's the life.
Yeah, it's a good
But
one.
so many people, like today's age, expect people to show up to interviews late, or to, I could not believe the things that people showed up in to interview. And people show up in pajamas now and this and that. And it's just like, where's at least some jeans and a polo shirt?
Dude, at one place I worked, this chick showed up for her interview, and she was wearing those overhead, earphones the whole time.
Yeah.
Through the whole interview. It's like, bro, take those fucking things off.
And leave your phone in your car.
Get out of here.
Don't sit there with your phone while we're interviewing or talking, or please don't do that.
Just be present. You know, that's the biggest thing wherever you're at, is to, whether it's a job, whether it's a hobby with your friends, like just be present with your friends. Like, I feel so blessed and so lucky to be sitting in this room talking to you guys, with everybody out there looking as well too. You know, like this is a blessing. All two people that are doing right now. I don't know how many people out there, but
your parents and your girlfriend.
I appreciate the heck out of it and the opportunities that we get to do, and it just shows how similar we all are. You know, we can all get so overwhelmed with our daily life and what we have to do and what we have to conquer and everything else, but there's other people going through the same struggle. You would have never thought that being a local band that's trying to break out and trying to make it has a lot of the same struggles and challenges as the mayor of Wichita Falls. You know, that's a neat thing to see.
Yeah.
You see, I agree. And I'm not in a band.
Yeah, well,
you're saying you don't know how to be in a band. I'm like, he's describing exactly how to be a band. You got to be culture. You got to have good ideas, bad ideas, try stuff out.
I get a tambourine now. You know?
Right.
I get to
look
come
out,
to
mommy's
Iron
waiting for
Horse,
you.
and I get to be in a band.
The Electric Triangle. Dude.
Yeah. Okay. Oh, yeah. I can do that.
No, but it's interesting too, because I mean, like you said, it's, you know, when you think of playing music, you know, I think we've kind of talked to this about Sam and Jerry, but like, you know, only the tip of the iceberg is
playing a show.
music.
Right.
Being
There's
in
so
a
much
band,
more
I
than
mean,
that.
dude, like we're marketers, we're, you know, advertisers, we're, you know, we make content, we produce media, we have to write music and play music and distribute music. But, you know, if a tree fell in the woods and no one saw or heard it, did it even happen? So then we have to market and advertise those things. Oh, by the way, we have to book ourselves too.
Right.
So then we have to do booking, and then we have to do promotion. And there's a difference between, you know, promotion and, you know, making posts, you know. So it's like there's a whole litany of things, you know, same deal. It's like if your phone ain't ringing, you go knocking on doors. We're sending hundreds of emails, and we're making the phone calls, and we're knocking on doors. But I think one of the interesting things about the state of things now is two things. One, you know, when a pendulum goes so far this way, it's bound to swing back the other way. And I feel like we've kind of existed in an ecosystem where, you know, we have put on a pedestal like this very few group of acts that have been propped up with a tremendous amount of money, and then just very obscure niche music. And like in our industry, what they tell you is you need to find out your niche.
Your niche,
What is your niche? What is your niche? But like for us, like we write compelling, real, original music. It's for everyone.
Yeah.
It really is. From my 3-year-old to you know, I used to work at a senior living facility, and you have 90-something people who we played there.
Yeah.
We played there a couple
Seeing your
times,
kids out there
and they
dancing.
loved our music,
Yeah.
man. So it's like,
Hey,
yeah,
those
but
retirement gigs are good.
Yeah,
I like those
and they're
gigs.
fun, and they love to rock.
They
But,
appreciate
like,
it more than anybody.
you know, so it's like, but like we don't have a niche, and that's
That's your niche.
Well, that's a good thing,
Yeah.
right?
That you don't have one.
So as far as it swings this way, but you know, it's bound to come back the other way. But then at the same time, we live in a society where, you know, we don't have to just focus on music, you know, because music is an outpouring of our relationship and the thoughts and the feelings and the community and camaraderie that we have. Okay, but like, if we're gonna be here in this city, we want to do something important.
Mhm.
And if we're gonna, you know, if we're gonna be here, we need to pour out. And so then it opens up. Okay, so it's like, what does it look like to pour out? It's like then it opens up this whole other avenue. It's like, you know, it's been a long time since I've been in high school, but
I'd love to do that.
I would love to go freaking rip at some high schools with high school kids. Play some drums with them, play some tenors and snares and all this stuff, and like film it and put it online, and like do this stuff and like expose, you know, just like how vast, this city is. You know, not just the city, but like the people in it, the good people in it. You know, I talk to people all the time. I'm a talker, man. So, you know, I'm talking to these HVAC dudes today, and it's just like, you know, hey man, tell me about yourself. And he's like, oh, well, you know, I do this, but I'm also in real estate, and I made $85,000 day trading. It's like, Jesus, Murphy, man.
Yeah.
Like, who would have known? So it's just like being able to do the podcast, being able to talk to people, being able to, you know, if everyone thinks there's these smoke-filled dungeons, Wichita Falls, well, by God, let's see if there are. Let's talk about it.
Right.
Or, you know, like any availability, you know, that we can have to display and distribute what the true Wichita Falls is, because it's also a little bit of a tale of two cities. There's like south of Cal and there's north of Cal, and at times it can very much seem very segmented. A lot of people from south of Cal don't really like going north of Cal.
I call it the box.
Yeah, and then, you know, the people north of Cal kind of feel upset at people south of Cal because this is the way it is. But like the reality is, like, we're all in this thing together.
Yeah.
You know, we all need to lift each other up. We need to be solutions oriented. You need to have, if you have a problem, fantastic. There's always bound to be issues. There always will be, but that means there's an ample amount of, of instances for you to help solve the problems that exist.
Yeah.
Raise the issues, raise the concerns, but raise solutions with them.
That's why I always call it, if we play this back, if you ever decide to watch this, if we're really recording this, and you're not pranking me. Community. I'll say I love this city. It's the community, and because that's what that is.
Right.
That is all of us. That's not a side. That's just all of us. You know, it's the community, and that's what I like to foster.
Yep.
So yeah, good deal.
So let's get some of these comments real
You
quick.
sure? You sure?
Yeah. So
Are you sure? No.
I don't know. I'll do my best.
I don't know how much more time we
Okay.
have.
I got as much time as you need.
All right, we're going for 3
Okay.
more hours.
All right.
In the chat, we have someone, Deborah Hart. Is that your girl? Yeah, it's Matt's wife.
Okay.
What does?
Respiratory therapist at United Regional.
Okay, what does he think about the level 3 NICU at United Regional?
I thought it was incredible. I got to tour it. They did not give me a sledgehammer. I did not get to break through the sheetrock and do that wisely. They did not trust me.
If it wasn't for her, they probably wouldn't have been able to get it up the level.
It is incredible, and the things that are happening at United Regional are amazing. I love the imaging center that's being built. When people see the
new CEO or whatever.
Corey's doing a great job. And what I see that NICU especially is state of the art, and what we want and what they want, we can take care of those babies here. And you don't have to take that helicopter ride. You don't have to take that 2-hour ambulance ride and go to Cook's. Hopefully they can be taken care of here. So through many generous donations was that able to happen. Hopefully, that whole area around. The hospital there will end up as kind of a medical city, I'm hoping.
Yeah.
Right now, the imaging center, $45 million is going in there, and right off of Brook, and that we'll begin to see. They have the orthopedic clinic. You're starting to see those things, but as those houses are abandoned and bought up over there,
Yeah.
I think that it's going to be the finest medical facility in North Texas, right here.
Yeah.
Something we'll be very proud of.
Yeah.
So she says she works there?
Yeah, she's
Okay.
our respiratory therapist.
Oh,
Yeah, she works in there.
Shout out Deborah,
Fantastic.
still in the chat.
shout out.
Shout out Deborah. Bobby Brown is in the chats. It's
Okay.
his prerogative.
It is. It's his prerogative.
He's expressing some frustrations about, I guess, code.
Okay.
You go to ask for, what the code is, and they
Yeah.
don't know.
Yeah.
And so, you have to tell you to go online. So all this stuff just basically expressing his frustrations about you ask for the code, they
Yes.
don't know what the code is.
Yeah.
And it just seems like a general frustration that even when you go to seek these solutions, there aren't. Maybe he's not getting the answers he feels like he.
Growing pains. I know they've switched a lot of things to apps, to online. You can pull your permit on an app. But if there's something specific on there, I'll look back through these. If there's
Sure.
something specific on there,
Yeah.
and I can put him in touch with the director, with Fabian there in development services, he can talk to him about it and see where the glitch is.
Sure thing.
We had an electrician the other day that they were so frustrated because they couldn't. He was in there and they said, okay, he had his account set up and he's trying to pull this permit, and really all you have to do. As a boomer, I hate to tell people to go to the app.
Yeah.
But legitimately, while they're standing there, can go to the app, and it wasn't working. He was real frustrated, and then what they realized was that he just hadn't updated it. You got to do the update on your banking app or whatever sometimes.
yeah.
So he pushed it, did the update, and then bam,
Ba-boom.
and it was issued,
Yeah.
and the payment was done, and he never would have had to come downtown, but he didn't know that till he got there. So sometimes hopefully it can be something as simple, but I'm happy to put that fella in touch with somebody that can help him.
Paul Pimentel has one question about data centers, but we'll get to that here in a second because there's several about that.
Good. Okay.
Do you have a solid answer for the people of Wichita Falls on what's going to happen with the mall instead of asking for money? I don't really understand what that means because I'm fairly ignorant on what is going on with the mall.
Okay. We want to know?
Yeah.
Okay.
Hit me with the hard stuff.
Okay. So it's I'll make it. I'll probably give horrible examples, but here we go. The mall is pretty much dead, right?
No, it's been dead.
Everybody
for a
agrees
while.
the
Not
mall's
pretty
dead,
much.
dying.
Yeah.
I grew up in the '80s. We love the
Spencer's and
malls.
Journeys doesn't
I
count.
get it. So, but this one was different because when the new owners bought it, I'll give you a little quick history. When the new owners bought it a couple years ago, myself, Ron Kitchens from the Chamber, and Stacy Haney, the president at MSU, asked if we could have they're in New York, asked if we could have a Zoom call with them. We didn't go to New York on this one. We said, let's have a Zoom call. They said, great. So we're all three, on the Zoom, and we're talking to them, and we said, hey, how can we help you? We want to get this mall going. How can we help you make this better? We're so glad that it's been bought because you think somebody's interested in doing anything. And the guy said, we have no plans for the mall to change it or to do anything with it. And we kind of looked at each other and thanked him for the call. And we got off the call and we all looked at each other and said,
shit.
what do we do now? We did. What do we do now? So, because we can't just let it sit there, become a homeless camp. People tag it with, it's going to look, the roof's going to be falling
It'll
in.
be like the hotel that we just got rid of.
And it's private property. So, we can't go in there and make them do a lot of stuff. So this is going to be horrible for our city. This is the best 60 acres that we've got.
Yeah,
So
prime location.
what do we do? Here's the box. Let's think outside of it. What do we do? How can we change this? We said, let's buy the mall. Let's because we said let's go market it. Let's get somebody to buy the mall. Let's get some. So we had some people tell us that they were interested in it at that point without us being involved, and they said, Oh yeah, we can. I don't want to pick on Dollar Tree, but we can put in stuff like that, and
Ticky tack stuff.
They're going in everywhere,
Man,
kind of stuff. Yeah.
what happened to we can have nice things and we can have big things? It deserves better than that. So we said, all right, let's see if they'll sell it to us, and then we'll figure out how to buy it. But let's see if the answer. They said,
is that even an option? Yeah.
We'll sell it to you. So we'll talk about how we bought it. But we said, okay, so we bought it for the specific reason to sell it. We're going to flip it like a rent house,
Sure.
okay? But we're going to flip it to somebody that we know what they're going to do to it,
Okay.
that has our vision.
Okay.
Retail, restaurants, green space, maybe a little amphitheater. MSU got involved in this, and they're going to put a stadium on it, 10 acres of it out there, and they're going to pay for it. We're not paying for it. And we want this to be the entertainment venue, the family venue. We want women to be able to go buy shoes. We want men to find a place to buy dress shirts. We need those things here. So when we said, this is just last July. I mean, this is not years ago, last July. So we said, okay, we're going to buy it. Word got out. We had 3 developers come to us, and they came to Wichita Falls, national people, and they met with us, and they gave PowerPoint presentations and said, here's our vision for this area. It would be these stores, it would be this restaurant, it would be this kind of stuff. And they pitched it to us, and we really liked them. They were really good. And then we ended up buying it. So October 15th, we bought the thing. Well, after we bought it, it got real. And we had many more developers all of a sudden show up.
Yeah.
So would you rather have 3 people trying to buy your house or 12?
Sure. Yeah.
Okay. Because it's taxpayer money, we need to talk to everybody that wants to see it. So we've had them coming in, they're doing tours, they're looking at the mall, they're looking at the place. This is an industry,
Sure.
of people that develop these things. They'll go, this is what we did in Pittsburgh. We just did one in San Diego. Here's San Antonio. They show us what they've done. Certain retailers, certain restaurants, certain grocery stores follow certain developers. So put that aside. So we've got a lot of people that want to buy it. Well, how do we sell it to them? And then go and we sell it to them, and they don't do anything that they promised to do. Well, we don't own it anymore, and there's nothing we can do.
Yeah.
So now here's where we are we're having design guidelines put in. This was the $400,000 that was just on our agenda that we approved, because architects and engineers don't work for free.
Mm-hmm.
So we have an architecture firm that is putting design guidelines together. Think of them like deed restrictions.
Mm-hmm.
So there'll be drawings, schematics, blueprints, all the things. This is Wichita Falls' vision for what we need this to look like. A good sample, not exact, but here's kind of. That will be a part of the contract when it's sold to a developer. So if they then come in and put in a Whataburger, we'll go, we have some teeth and we can sue them. We have some recourse in the contract.
Sure.
That's the whole reason for doing all of that mess. I want that thing sold tomorrow. I mean, I'm ready to be done with it. But we've only had it for 6 months. People think we've had it for years.
Right. Man, you guys ever bought a property and tried to redo it? It takes longer than you
There's still tenants in the mall paying rent, and we're making money on the mall every month because what they're paying us is paying more than what we owe on it.
Really?
Yeah. There are some of those leases are tens of thousands of dollars a month
Golly.
that they're paying us. So it's we're still in the black. It won't be for long because they're going to be moving out. The restaurants, Books A Million.
Oh yeah, forget about
they want a Bricktown.
Bricktown.
Yeah, they want to be a part of the new development, and they will be.
Sure.
And they want bigger spaces. Yeah. So those will be built custom for those people.
Yeah.
The movie theater, wants to be there. What if we had a big, like an Alamo Draft House thing? It's something like that. So this will be bigger and better. This will be a place where you will spend the day with your family.
Yeah.
Go in and do, or you can just stop in and go to a restaurant or buy a suit, whatever.
Get in and get out if you need to, or stay a while. It's comfortable.
The thing is not malls anymore. It's more like the Academy Shopping Center.
It's a strip,
where you can drive up to it, South Lake.
Yep.
Think of those places, and we can have those places.
Outlet malls.
We support those places. Yeah. We just support them in Denton and Abilene and other places right now. So we that's what's going on with the mall. So we bought it with say $10,000 worth of sales tax money, economic development money that we have, and an $18 million bank loan.
Wow.
That's all we did.
There's the truth.
So there you go. So,
Yeah.
and the banker has been at all of our meetings, and the banker says he's totally 100% comfortable with this deal. He wrote the $18 million check for the thing, and he thinks that this is a wonderful deal. So we bought it for right at $28 million. This is going to be a $200 million development that will be on our tax rolls shortly, over the next couple of years while this is built. We hope to have it sold by the end of the year. Our design guidelines should be finished July or August, and then we present it to these people, and they go, "Yeah, I can live with that. Yeah, that fits exactly what we want to do."
Sure.
We're out, and they have to build it like we agreed to, and then it's a couple years to get everything built. They'll start tearing it down from J.C. Penney's towards the restaurants, and all those businesses will be able to stay until the last minute. Yeah, we don't want to kick anybody out. So.
We stayed in a hotel in Amarillo that was like that.
Until their
one room at a time, man.
Until their place is built, So
Last time in St. Louis, they were tearing. I guess that's why our hotel room's so cheap.
Yeah,
Construction the whole time.
Yeah.
That kind of explained them all a little bit.
I think you did a tremendous job.
You didn't know anything about it.
No, that made perfect sense to me.
Okay.
So just to relate back to you, so that I know that I fully understand what happened. The mall's for sale. People wanted to buy it, but they basically wanted to do the same thing with it. And you're like, that's not going to fly.
Not good enough.
So we're going to buy it, and then we're going to court developers that come in, and we're going to set specific parameters in place so that they can't just buy it and then it just remains the same.
Yes.
We're turning a new page here in Wichita Falls. We want to create something. We want this to be a destination. So now we're going to create certain restrictions, so to speak, that the new developers have to abide by, so that when they come in and when they develop, if they don't do the thing that we agreed to, there's some legal recourse or some sort of recourse that we can hold their feet.
You were listening.
Okay.
Perfect.
Yeah.
We're not. The headlines kill me, because the headlines will say, money to redevelop or money to. We're not fixing anything out there. We have a company that runs it for us.
Right.
That
We
hire.
bought this to sell it, but we want them to do the right thing with it.
They're collecting the rent.
this
They're
all
paying the
makes sense.
bills. They pay the electric bill. They hire the security guards. I'm not over there walking security tonight. I mean, so there are people that are running that, and we pay for that out of the rent that we get. So
makes sense to
me.
I mean,
makes perfect sense to me.
But it is, there will be. This is all misunderstood and so obfuscated through social media. That but that's the truth. We just recorded it, and that's exactly what's happened. So
here's a question that's about Lake Ringgold.
Good.
And there's a few of them out there, kind of in. I think from what I've gathered, just kind of being the one who's been amassing all these questions, it seems to me that the two most popular things that people are talking about is data center and water usage, which we can get to here in a second.
Yes.
And Lake Ringgold. And so Paul Pimentel, I hope I'm pronouncing your name right, brother, still watching.
Yeah.
He appreciated your answer.
Thank you.
Pretty said solid answer for the people of Wichita Falls on what's going to happen with. Oh no, I already read that. He said, "Thank you for answering that and making it clear. I respect that." Now, on a different note, Lake Ringgold. Why can't the public know about the spendings? Okay. I don't know anything about that.
I saw one earlier about why the documents. Why we're suing the Attorney General?
SB 1658 or something like that.
Yes, it is. It's an answer that will be misunderstood. I'm going to try to do it as clearly as I can. So, the city is attempting to build a reservoir. We'll call it Lake Ringgold. Okay, they've been trying to do it for almost 100 years now. It was supposed to have been built when they built Lake Arrowhead, and they were going to do them together. They're both in Clay County, where this land is. The state of Texas, the water board, call them the water board, identified that area. We did not, as the last best place in Texas to build a reservoir.
Okay.
50 foot deep, 17,000 acres. It's big and deep, and it'll be recreational as well. Okay, so that's the history on it. we already own 7,000 acres, which the city already owns it. We lease it out for grazing. We lease it out for hunting. We lease it out to farmers, ranchers that are there. We need to acquire, I think it's another 10 or 15,000 acres from private families that live there. We will buy that from them. Hopefully it will not involve eminent domain.
Correct. Yeah, I was about to ask about
But
that.
it could.
Yeah.
And, we will buy that land from these folks. Whole different topic.
Sure.
But that's the point is to be able to do that. So why are we in the position that we're in now? So you have to there's several steps that this goes to, and I'll get to the lawsuit part quickly. The city has to have permits from the state to acquire this land, and it goes through the Texas TCEQ,
My dad
the
worked
water
with
board.
TCEQ
Okay.
for a long time.
So there's a 3-judge panel down there, and that has to agree. Yeah, you can move forward to your next step. They did. But prior to that, there was an administrative judge that said Wichita Falls hasn't proven their case that they need that water. Well, he doesn't have any power to stop it.
Right.
He gave an opinion. A couple weeks later, we met with the 3-panel, the TCEQ. They're the ones that say yes or no. Unanimously, all 3 said, yes, Wichita Falls, you've made your case. Proceed to the next step. The landowners in Henrietta, I don't blame them, sued us in district court to stop it because they fight every step of the way. They're fighting. Fine. So it's in district court. We're currently in litigation in the district court in Travis County, trying to get to move to the next step, which is with the Army Corps of Engineers, the federal, to get a 404 permit.
It'd be
the
like
next
Lake
step.
Whitney or something like that.
So we're delayed right now. We are in a lawsuit, not because we sued anybody, because we were sued. Okay. At that same time, we have requests for documents I think from citizens, from somebody have made open record requests for the documents surrounding Lake Ringgold. Here's where it gets sticky, but here's the truth.
Because it's in litigation.
The Attorney General says, the law says, if you're in litigation, you don't have to give your documents to anybody. That's the law. The other side in the lawsuit has our documents. That's discovery. So
Yes.
that's fine. They're not being hidden from them, but they're not released to the public during litigation.
And that's
That-
normal for anything. That's
anything.
Not, yeah.
Right.
So it's not that but the Attorney General's office said, yes, Wichita Falls, release the documents. And we said,
You can't.
the
tell-
law says that
you can't do that.
So
Yeah.
the law says, so here's the part. This is why there's a lawsuit, is that we cannot just call the Attorney General and say, hey, can you look at this again? We think you made a mistake because here's what the law says, and them go, oh, my bad. You're
You
good.
know better than us. You're right. You know.
There's no appeal.
Yeah.
You have to sue them, and that's the appeal. So, unfortunately, we're suing them just so they'll look at it again and go, here's the law. They're in litigation. We're out. They don't have to provide their
Yeah. It
documents.
seems like there's.
But the city of Wichita Falls is suing the Attorney General, so we don't have
Like
to
you
release
said,
our
headlines,
documents.
right?
That's why. When the lawsuit is won, lost, settled, whatever goes on, and we can move on to the next step, here you go.
Yeah.
We're not in litigation anymore.
Sure.
Here you go.
Yeah.
You know, print them
Right.
out.
Yeah.
But that's the law.
Makes sense.
We're
That's-
following the law.
Ask one of these DTR questions. I got to
Sure.
rock a crazy piss.
I gotta go.
Actually, ask the part 2 that Tracy had on there. I think she's up top.
Let's see.
Yeah.
Said if
Glad you-
Wichita Falls could
you
be
left the
known
mic.
for
Yeah.
one thing statewide,
Wait, one
what
more-
should it be?
What?
So one more time, if Wichita Falls could be known for one thing statewide, what should it be?
That we talked about it earlier was I want to be known more for the culture change. But
That's a big
on-
thing Ron talked about. You know, I was lucky enough to go to Leaderfest a couple times.
Yes.
And that was a big thing out there. That
Yes.
was such a tremendous event. You know, we
Yeah.
can touch on that again
Best
in a minute
class
if you
ever.
want. But
Yeah, I think but for us to really be known, I want Wichita Falls to be known for for being willing to change that culture, because that's a big thing for a city to do. But, you know, we're a lot of things. We're very diverse. We're the city that Faith built. We, after the tornado, which was today, you know, in 1979. But, you know, we have our retirement community. We have Shepherd Air Force Base that's 40% of our economy, which is crazy. We have and MSU. And we have a lot of folks in between that maybe haven't stayed here for, you know, they couldn't find jobs. They couldn't find a reason to stay. And they've been leaving. And we're missing those people in the middle. Well, I think that's what we're trying to solve now. Jobs, jobs, jobs. And we want to give people a reason to stay here. So I want, Wichita Falls is resilient and we solve problems. You know, 10 years ago, we had this drought of record. We invented water, you know. I mean, we didn't go away. We made water, you know, where there basically wasn't any. Everybody told us it was crazy. It wouldn't work. It was too expensive. Can't do it on time. We did it. And that's what saves us. Yeah. And well, our guys have traveled worldwide now to present how we did it, you know. Besides just in the United States, there's a lot of people that are wanting to do this reuse project. So that part is incredible. So we're known for our resiliency. We're known for solving problems. And I think, you know, besides just the culture thing, that's something that's going to stand out in the next 20 years is keeping those people. We had, you know, I talk about jobs, but just one great example, because we'll go into data centers, but with Amazon. Amazon is here. They're operating. They're delivering 52,000 packages a day.
Jesus.
Here, and in the area. I think within a 50-mile radius. But it's incredible what they're doing. They built 76,000 square feet. We had to go get them to come here, by the way. It's a great story. But they're doing wonderful. Now, all we heard online and at meetings was, and we didn't give them a dime. They paid us $20 million for the land. We didn't give them a tax break. We didn't do anything. They just wanted to be here after we visited with them and bought them cowboy hats.
People should want to be
yes,
here.
They wanted to be here. This is a great
Especially
place
something
to
like
live.
Amazon. We talked about that on the Sam Packs, how Wichita Falls could be a hub
Yes.
and a jumping off point.
They saw that.
There used to be a train stop.
They saw that, and they said, but what I'm getting online during the whole construction period, during the whole time that we're courting Amazon, is it'll all be automated. There's no jobs. We'll be lucky if there'll be less than 100 jobs.
Right.
It's just a bunch of machines that does. You know what? We just toured it again a month ago. 400 jobs. There's 400 people employed there from Wichita Falls and the surrounding area because that place is here, and they're hiring 50 more. They're hiring 50 more right now.
Well, you know why nobody's heard
And it's
about it,
not
right?
automated.
Well, because their friend hasn't been hired yet.
Yes. Yeah, 200 drivers. Yeah.
It's, you know, but watch, like, 6 months from now, you know, I think people will go and see this and they'll be like, oh, yeah, I know everybody working at Amazon. It'll be like friends working at Walmart. It used to be something that you never see.
Yeah.
And now it's like, oh, yeah, so-and-so works there. They work here. They do that. Like, it's commonplace. As soon as you know one person that's in your tiny little circle that comes from the bigger than this, it ripples out. The entire world does.
It's fantastic. We cut a ribbon out there. They gave a $10,000 check that day to the WFISD Foundation.
Wow.
You know, to help with scholarships and to help with. I mean, they're good community partners. It's it's cleaner than my kitchen. It is so nice out there. You know, you're getting things same day. I mean,
I've had
it's crazy.
Yeah.
I said the other night, I said, you know, I dreamed about something last night, and I woke up and it was on my porch the next morning. You know, it's kind of crazy how they're able to do it. So, but that was just something where we had the, you know, backlash for no reason as to
because it's something new.
Why would that? We don't need that. It doesn't do anything. Why would you want to do that? And look how good that's turned out. So, vision. You have to have vision. So.
I like seeing us continue to move in that direction,
Yeah.
you know, that progressive, you know, everyone says, oh, it's big city mentality. Well, it doesn't have to be. You know, a lot of people, if you're from here, you hear people calling Wichita Falls the big city. So,
yeah. This is your...
Lubbock is about the same size as us. Or maybe
no, they're almost 300,000
Yeah,
now.
Lubbock's
They grew quick.
Yep, they
Yeah.
did.
That's They
Yep.
used to be about the same size.
They were exactly our same. I remember when Lubbock got Chili's, got the first restaurant. When they got Chili's built there, we lived outside of town. My dad worked in Lubbock at one of the banks, and I remember he got home that evening, and why I remember this in 1978. But we sat down to dinner, and he said, "Lubbock's getting a Chili's." I don't know who Lubbock thinks they are, and I just, I mean, that was 40, 50 years ago, and
That's
I
so
still
funny.
laugh about that, and it's still there. It's right across from the mall.
As a point, Clint Vines in the chat has a small rebuttal to the Ringgold.
Okay.
Basically, this contention is those people don't want to give up their land,
Right.
and can you blame them?
No.
Look how much land costs now; they'll be the ones losing.
Well, they're going to be paid for it.
Right.
I mean, I say regardless, and it's a hard argument to have.
Yeah, it's
but
challenging for sure.
They're going to be the richest people in North Texas by the time
Yeah,
that land is sold and that is done. And I don't want to be, I don't mean it the way it'll come across, because I hate the eminent domain.
No,
This has been happening for almost 100 years.
Yeah.
So with the family land, with what's there, it's not a surprise. It's not a surprise to any of the people that live there, and I don't like that part of it.
Mm-hmm.
We've had I know a lot of those folks have met with several of them individually, and just no finer people.
Mm-hmm.
Unfortunately, this is what's coming.
Yeah.
So,
and just a small note, as the reason why we're doing this right now in the chat, Paul Pimentel has asked a couple of these questions.
Yeah.
Said, "Thank you for answering almost all these questions. Very professional. I now have a different look."
Oh.
So this
Thank
is
you,
why
Paul.
we're doing this.
Okay.
A little bit of transparency, as they say, sunlight is the best disinfectant.
Yeah.
And moving forward, I think it's probably time that we hit these data centers.
Yeah. Good.
I have peripherally heard about, one data center coming, and then I think I heard something about multiple data centers down the pike.
Yeah.
But then I heard it's like
it's like the game of telephone,
like a couple hundred people being employed, but then it's like really only going to be 5 people, kind of in the same vein as what you had said.
Right.
And then obviously, then there's the water usage that's
Yep.
going to have to go for these, and then it's going to jack up prices and taxes. So just to kind of look at some of these questions about data centers. Why won't you and the city council inform the people that voted for you about all of the data centers in process?
Okay.
Even if the lawsuits work and you force people off their family land, there still isn't enough water to supply them. What will be done about the noise pollution, the polluted water after it's used, the amount of electricity used, and the temperature changes caused?
Okay.
That.
That's okay.
Why give multi-million-dollar companies tax breaks
Okay.
when the citizens that live here don't get any?
Yeah.
These centers need to be stopped until the governing body does more research on the negative impacts they have.
Okay. Great question. I'll try to hit all of those points. So we didn't wake up Tuesday and say, let's have some data centers here.
Sure.
Been working on this for 3+ years. Have visited them, have been in them.
Eric Stevens, by the way.
Okay. Thank you, Eric. So there's been tons of research on what's going on. Think of them as, I used to have a landline phone, and then I had a bag phone, and then I had a flip phone, and then you have an Android, and then I hate Androids, and then you end up I don't like the green text, and then you end up with an iPhone. I mean, technology changes, So everything that you Google, I say be careful what you Google because you might find it, but what you Google about the data centers and how they were built is not how this is being built, not what is being allowed to be built in Wichita Falls. So a couple years ago, we go to Washington every year for Shepherd Air Force Base, go to the Pentagon, we talk to them about the missions and working on Shepherd. So we were there and find out about all these data centers that are being built in Virginia, which is right across the river. Go visit them, go see what's going on. There's these billion-dollar things that are being constructed there. They're different. It's older, even a couple years, it's older technology, the water usage, the electricity, how they're cooled, all of these things are different in that part of the country. But my gosh, they're on every block. They're everywhere. Arlington is not a gigantic place, and so there's only so much land there, and so they have a cul-de-sac with houses on it, and there's 100 acres back here. Data center goes on that thing behind your fence. That's what's back there, and it's causing all kinds of issues. We don't have that.
Sure.
We have land, water, and power. That's why they want to be here. And people say we don't have water. We have water, and we're not building Lake Ringgold for data centers because we're 20 years away.
Right.
I'll probably never stick a foot in Lake Ringgold. I'll be long dead. But right now, because people will say, well, if you have plenty of water, why are you building another lake? Let me address that. Right now we have 3 lakes that we can
the watershed,
use.
yeah.
Okay, so the 3 lakes, say they get down to 40%. Okay, so you have 3 lakes with 40% water. And you bring Lake Ringgold on, and it's in a little different watershed, but it's at 40%. So now you have 4 lakes at 40%, you have more water. I mean, it's just, we have
Simple
more water
arithmetic,
with another lake, even
Simple
though it'll
arithmetic.
go up and down as well.
Like having another
That's
water
why.
tank on your property.
We've been in a drought
And we
where
won't-
it's so bad,
Right.
like you can literally walk across like Wichita.
Right.
Yes.
Yeah.
You
or
can
even-
try.
But it doesn't, we don't even
Oh, I
count.
learned that in college.
We don't
that,
count Lake Wichita because
Right, agreed.
it's not a water
Right,
source.
yeah.
We don't even use it.
Lake Arrowhead was almost
Yeah.
just as dry that one year.
Yep.
Yeah,
Oh, no,
yeah.
that was awful.
Crazy.
Over
And
100 days of over 100
Kemp
degrees.
was bad. So we got down to 19%, and it was terrifying. But we won't get there. So people don't know. So I'm on water. So here's why we're okay with water, Eric, is because for the last 2 years we've been in a drought, and
Correct.
people didn't even know it.
Mhm.
Up until April 30th of last year, we were in a drought, and our water reuse project ran 24/7, 365 days for 2 years. People didn't know it, weren't aware of it. The lowest we got was 60%, and people were still watering their yards twice
Sure.
a week.
Mhm.
We're not in any danger, and that was another 2-year drought. And then it rained last April 30th for that week and flooded everything.
Yep.
Remember,
Yep,
it
sure
was
do.
crazy. So we may get that this year also. Our lakes, almost 90% right now. While we sit here,
Right.
I'm gonna lose my voice.
Need some water?
You got some more? Okay. All right. So, we're sitting here today, and most of our lakes, the average is right at 90%.
Wow.
And we're heading into the rainy season.
Right.
So, thank you. I needed water. Yeah, thank you.
Yeah, speaking.
Yeah, while I'm talking about water. But you didn't see the irony in there. Yeah, there's a song in there somewhere.
Oh, that's good.
So, anyway, so we have water for that. The other thing, there are no tax breaks, none, 0. The city of Wichita Falls is given 0 tax breaks. Amazon to a data center, none of it. It's a private business that bought private land, largest land sale in Wichita Falls history,
Wow.
$65,000 an acre. They gave us $15 million, and we've already cashed a check. So, yeah, bought 225 acres in our business park. Nowhere near homes, nowhere near houses. It's behind the jail.
Right.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. So it's out there. This project, as we sit here today, if you got up on top of Big Blue and looked around at all of Wichita Falls, our tax base is $7.9 billion. Okay. This one project is $22 billion.
I'll take a chunk.
We will triple the tax base of Wichita Falls, Texas with these 9 buildings. $22 billion. They get 0 tax break. We get all the sales tax. We get all the property tax. It doesn't go away once it's built. They're constantly changing out servers, wiring, everything that they do, from landscaping to everything they do, we get paid on it. So that allows the homeowner to have to pay less in property taxes because the burden will be on industry where it's supposed to be.
Gotcha.
Now, we need to build a fire station. We write a check for it. We don't have to pass a bond. We write a $6 million check. We build a fire station. We need to fix some potholes. We fixed 145 potholes in Wichita Falls, Texas this week.
Wow.
We have 2
This
pothole trucks.
Finally read it.
Oh, I've seen them. I've been behind them
We
like
have
6 times.
2.
Yeah. Yep.
What
I've
if
been
we
behind
had
them.
10? And
Yeah.
what if we wrote a check for them?
I've seen those
Because
guys all over the place.
that's
Yeah.
what the money
Yep.
does
Over on
when,
Camp. They've been
when
around
it
Camp.
comes. So our budget
saw
for
them
our
off Seymour
entire
Highway.
city
Mhm.
is
Yeah.
we're about to go into budget season. $262 million is the city budget. 70% of that is just employees and fire and police.
Right.
So we have 30% to play with. Well, when these things come online with a $22 billion, what if Wichita Falls, has a $750 million budget or a $1 billion budget?
Right.
We're paying for things. That helps the schools. They get a slice of it. The county gets a piece of it, and the city gets a big piece of it. And then we're doing things for quality of life. It's all parks, streets, infrastructure, water and sewer, all of those things. And I think when I had read his question earlier, he said, was he the one who said, will you get in writing that they will pay for all of the infrastructure?
No,
Yes.
no, that's
That was
Peggy.
a different guy?
Peggy Sue York.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, Peggy, yes, it is in writing that data centers will pay for all of the infrastructure needs and all of the things. It's not a cost of the taxpayer. They will pay for it. So let's talk about the water that they use to wrap that part up. We were visited so far, we've had 13 data centers come to Wichita Falls because they heard we've got, a couple that are interested. They like the land, no state tax. We have water.
Sure.
I'll talk about power in a second, but 13 different people have come here, flown in on private jets, driven into town, whatever, looked at land, looked at places, and talked to us about it. Well, we interview them. They may not be a fit, and most of them aren't, because, they'll come in and they'll go, what kind of tax break do you give us? Abilene gave 85% tax abatement to the data center that's going on down there.
Right.
They threw 85% of the money in the wind. They're getting 15% of $500 billion, which is pretty good. But they're paying people to come there, and we're not. We don't have to. So we told every one of them, no, we're not giving tax breaks. We're not giving you an abatement. We're not doing that. The state might, but we're not. So some of them just leave and go some other places that they can find it.
Yeah.
That's fine. They're not a fit here. They can only be here if it's called a hyperscale closed loop water system. Your cars all have closed loop water cooling systems in them right now. When's the last time you changed the water in your car? You've never changed the water in your car. They won't change the water in these. They fill them up. There's 9 buildings right now on this one. They can look up skybox.com. There's a picture of it on their cover page. They fill each building up. It takes 20,000-ish gallons to fill it up. That's a swimming pool in Wichita Falls.
Right.
20,000 gallons.
Yeah, it's a small.
They fill it
swimming
up.
pool.
They close the pipe. They're done. They don't flush it. They flush it the first time. But after that, when it's full, they don't have to empty it. It doesn't require chemicals. It doesn't need any of that stuff. So they're not dumping it into our sewers. They're not putting it into our fresh water supply. They don't have to do any of that. And that water circulates, and that's what cools
it off.
all of these thousands and millions of servers that are in there. Hundreds of thousands, at least, of servers that are in there. And that's the loop that runs around and it cools everything. They have backup generators that can run their place for over 30 days.
Mm-hmm.
So Wichita Falls comes first. If we have the big freeze again.
Yeah.
Okay. We get the electric first. They have to go to backup. They flip a switch and they're on generator power. We get the water. We get the electricity first. They will have their own substation on
To
site.
take care of themselves.
And every one of these things, we can't approve a data center. ERCOT approves them. So they're the regulatory body that does that. Now, people are worried about the water being dumped and it has chemicals in it or something. Okay. I can say TCEQ is heavily involved in regulating these things. So we took an old barge out of Lake Arrowhead a couple months ago that had been there for 40-something years, that had, when it shifted, There was some old, they thought it was oil, maybe, that came to the top. Within 2 hours, TCQ was on site and we're ready to fine everybody. And we pulled that thing out of there and got it all taken care of. And it wasn't an oil leak. That wasn't what it was. But, I mean, these things are heavily regulated.
Don't play around about that stuff.
Think about the service department at the car dealership, the oil change place, the paint body shop that they're in town right now. They dispose of chemicals. They dispose of water. They dispose of all of their stuff. They're killing me.
No, they're killing us.
They're killing you.
What do we do?
I just checked YouTube, by the way. I've just been.
I'm sorry. You get it too?
No.
Okay.
I've been called a lot worse things. Kathy Dodson.
Oh.
Yeah.
Brother, you got to read these YouTube comments. I didn't even know these were around here. I've been paying attention.
I
to
can't
Facebook.
wait. Yeah. So they, but they dispose of chemicals. They do that stuff too. And that's what these people will be doing in a heavily regulated environment.
Yeah.
So, what was the other part? We did the water, the power. Let me tell them about the power. So, Wichita Falls, I explain things, I give stupid examples, but it's the way that, I'll understand it. Think of Wichita Falls as a cul-de-sac, okay? I'm going to have to read those. Wichita Falls is a cul-de-sac for electricity. We only use 60% of the electricity they give us every day that runs here, and we send 40% of it back to the Metroplex, to wherever, to the grid that needs it. We have 40% surplus of electricity that we're not even using right now. We have excess surplus power for data centers, for car dealerships, for everybody else that's going to be here. There are questions about noise. They do. There's no Bitcoin mining. There's no cryptocurrency being done. It's all data center. It's all AI. It's all everything you're looking at on your phone is going through there right now. There are I'm not an engineer. I talk to a lot of them. There are ways with their fences and ways that with buffing and barriers and sound protection that they put up that looks good, looks natural, with landscaping and with the hardscape and the softscape that absorbs the noise. So they'll say average noise will be 62 decibels, which is our conversation. 70 decibels is if you and I start really laughing about some of these comments, here. But
a pool pump
the
makes more
noise is
than
louder
that.
on I-44 and on 287. That's
you got the highway noise.
Yeah. That's louder. When you're on 44 driving to Burke, do you hear noise from Vitro, or do you hear noise from Sealed Air, or do you hear noise? You don't hear.
Car, closed windows,
Right.
no audio on, it's about 8.
Yeah, and you don't hear anything from the factory or from the air conditioner that they're running over there. So, all right, who's killing us?
Yeah, who's killing us? We like this too.
Okay,
Bring the hate.
I will say I didn't know that there were comments on YouTube. Thank you very much for watching. Actually, one of my buddies, James, is watching. He's a delivery driver, and he said the roads are on the low side.
Yeah, and
which
this is where we get the money to fix it.
Yeah, James, I'll say, I have personally seen the pothole trucks out, so
Yeah.
just give it time.
I've seen him out too.
Give him
Yeah,
time.
has he driven in Frisco? Fastest growing city in Texas, and the roads are horrific.
All
Someone,
like Louisiana.
someone
now.
in Crystal, Washington asked. She said, "Sorry, I pinned this lady's rude message to the top because I think it's so funny." She said, "I have to unpin this thing so I can read it." Oh yeah. Thank you for all of the different developments. Will you be visiting the 2011 drainage project for East Side Development?
Yes, and we promised to do that at the last meeting on Tuesday.
Okay,
So
very
in
good.
public, we said of course, and we're looking at what we can do to update that drainage because we would like to get that fixed.
For sure.
So
Yeah.
Yeah,
and then,
100%.
Same woman
Yeah.
from Crystal, Washington, asked, "How does city government decide what places to build data centers?"
Good question. Thank you, Crystal. So data centers decide where they want to build. Business goes where business wants to be. We had a business park for this type of thing. That's why Amazon went out there. That's why Man Hummel and a lot of other businesses are out there if you drive around. So we had an additional 225 acres out there. They bought the last of it. And it's because it's not in a neighborhood. It's away from people. It's
good for them. It's good for
it's
us.
It's a business park. So
and that's what good business is. It's
yeah. we have to buy another one. We don't have anywhere to go.
There's no room out there to
There's
expand further.
there's another 120 acres, but there's not. We ran out of land that way, so we're looking. We're looking at a couple different spots for Business Park North. It's where anybody who's got 500 acres, give us a call. That we can get land. We have to do the infrastructure. We've got to get the land, the water, and the sewer fixed, and the streets in there, and then we sell it and we market the business park. So that's how that started.
Yeah.
The other three, we're working on 3 other data centers. They came in and they found the land. One is out. We didn't assist them. They found the land out at Randy Drive, which is out by the airport. One is over by, I want to say by Cracker Barrel, but it's more south of Cracker Barrel out there. A few hundred acres out there, and the other one is behind the Harley Davidson on the way to Iowa Park.
Mm-hmm.
Those land deals have closed, and they're several hundred acres. The one by the airport will be natural gas. It won't even be electric. The one by behind the Harley Davidson is solar, with a couple hundred acres for a solar farm that the county just took care of for them. So, yeah. And then there's the other one I think is going to be natural gas as well. But so,
Tremendous.
yeah.
So whether people like it or not, there's growth happening in Wichita Falls right now.
Yeah. And the jobs part.
Yeah.
So I'll talk about the one we know about. So Skybox is building. They're $80 million into this deal and haven't turned a shovel of dirt yet. So, but and we know where it's going. They chose the business park area and bought all that land. So we had a meeting here for the public, and they said they're going to have 500 to 1,000 jobs. Okay, probably 500 of them are their employees. There's it's like a landlord-tenant deal. That's how it works. Landlord builds it, has the building, rents it, the space, to one of the 5. It's Google, Microsoft, Meta, Apple, Oracle, I think, is the 5th one. It's one of those. We don't know which one it's going to be, but they do. So one of those will be in the data center. It'll be one of those places. But they lease it to them. They provide the security. So 25% of their employees are security employees. Salary range of every employee out there, $68,000 to $250,000. Hey, pay me $68,000. I'll stand at the front gate and raise the arm.
Right.
If I could pass a background
70
check.
grand in Wichita Falls goes a long way.
Yes,
No doubt.
people can feed their family and buy a house.
Sure, yeah.
So nice. And the others, obviously, electrical engineers. They use local electricians to change out servers. They will have janitorial. This is several million square feet. I don't know what it's like to mop 1 million square feet, but they'll have a large janitorial crew. They'll have landscaping. They do all of that, and that's included. So they may have 500 people employed, and whomever the tenant is will have another 400 or 500 people that are employed. So you end up with 1,000 people with these incredible jobs. They're working with MSU and they're working with our CEC to train their future employees. The skilled labor, the plumbers, the electricians, the welders, and the electrical engineers, which is a new degree that you can get at MSU now. So they're working closely to provide scholarships and to help with them, because they want to hire those people to work here. So that's that gap we were taking care of between Shepherd Air Force Base and MSU.
It
the
creates
people
that
in between
sustainability.
will be able to have jobs where they can stay here and raise their families. And that's what we're trying.
That's the goal. That's that 10, 20-year
desperately
goal,
So if I know that one's happening. I can't tell you that the other 3 are 100% going to happen, because I think odds nationally are 50% of the ones that say they're going to build end up building. So maybe that's 1 more or 2 more that happen out there. But great, good for us, good for jobs, and it's covered the north side and the south side of Wichita Falls.
Yeah.
So yeah.
Okay, now on to some of the funnier ones here.
I can take it.
Kathy Dodson on YouTube said, "I've been watching for over an hour. Has he answered any of Crystal's questions?" No, because I didn't know there were questions.
I just
But
answered
now he
two of them.
has. But now,
There.
there were two, and you
Okay,
answered them.
there you
So
go.
that's done. Boom.
Thank you, Miss Dodson.
Kathy Dodson pinned this comment because I love it. These two gullible, completely ignorant-looking men bought that crap. L-O fucking L. That is the funniest fucking thing I've ever heard, and I love it. Kathy, please come back. Talk more shit. She said, do you all realize he lied to y'all about the lawsuit?
I did not.
I don't know.
I
but,
would. Oh my God.
Seems not. Kathy, I'd love to have you on the podcast. We can do an open debate with you and Mayor Tim Short. I would love to. I would,
Not open debate, open mic.
open mic,
Yeah.
whatever you want to call it. I don't fucking care. But
Wow.
look, man. People are so quick to just say whatever the fuck it is that they think. They can hear something perfectly reasonable. Am I completely ignorant and gullible? Possibly. But at the same time, we're here having a conversation with the mayor, and
Let me tell you.
we want to have a good faith discussion. If
Hey.
he's if he's lying, that'll come out in the end. But
Yeah.
from everything I've seen, he seems to be operating in good faith, and as are we.
I'm
So-
not scared.
so
I'm
Kathy-
telling the truth,
Kathy,
and I'm the one that's been in the room.
Yeah,
So
from
who do
the-
you believe?
from the newly appointed cultural ambassador to Wichita Falls. Go fuck yourself. Back to Facebook. Clint Vine said there are definitely homes out there. Just from my perspective, that he's talking about the Lake Ringgold project. Just from my perspective, Clint, from everything I've heard, is he's not said that there aren't.
Right.
It's just that everyone's going to be compensated for that. This project, and this is just once again, I like to tell you what I heard so that we both have an understanding
Yes.
that I heard the right thing. Correct?
Sure. Yeah.
Everything I heard is that this project has been going on for over 100 years.
Yeah.
This lake is needed for our watershed to increase that. We've been in a drought basically perpetually for forever.
Yeah.
And there are homes out there. There is
Yeah.
land out there. People do own those lands. They will be duly compensated for that land. And if they aren't, then that's when eminent domain comes in, and we hope that doesn't happen.
I hope it doesn't.
I
know.
Above and beyond that, I mean, then now we can just get to the fun questions.
Okay.
I believe that
Do it.
that people had asked.
I mean, that was fun.
Let me see if I can find where the fuck. There it is.
You're on a roll.
Yeah, this is great, man. So Morgan Field, shout out Morgan. He's a great dude. He's basically been one of our biggest fans on
Good,
Facebook.
yeah.
How do you balance the growth of this town in terms of its assets as a college destination and military retirement spot, such as venues and attractions / businesses, with the responsibility to spend tax money wisely? Follow-up question. What's your favorite downtown royalty song, and why is it You Nasty? So let's go with step one.
Yeah.
How do you balance the growth
it.
of this town in terms of its assets as a
Yeah.
college destination and military retirement spots,
That's what we
such
talked
as
about.
venues and attractions business?
Mhm.
I think we basically covered that.
We talked about
Yeah.
Shepherd and being
Mhm.
40% of our economy,
Right.
which is terrifying and wonderful all at the same time. You know, we do everything that we can to foster them, but also with MSU now has record enrollment in their last couple freshman classes. MSU is growing internally, and that's wonderful because it's with the help of Texas Tech, I'm a Red Raider, so we're very very happy about that. What was the question about it? How do we balance? That's the gap that we talked about. Trying to
Yeah.
provide. What we're doing is providing jobs
right.
with this industrial growth. We've got military, we've got retirement, we've got retirees and active duty, and we've got students that are here. How do we keep them? How do we keep those people once they graduate and provide jobs that they can make livings and provide for their
Give
families?
them a reason to stay.
That's what we're doing. You don't have to be an engineer to work there, and the other thing is people get stuck on just the data center, right?
Right.
No, there is an incredible amount of jobs that show up that provide the services for those places. They provide, there's a warehouse that's already moved here and built 250,000 square feet and is trying to double their space because they will just service their backup batteries, and they're preparing for that. This is on a scale that we've never seen before, which is why it's a little scary. But the industry that services and provides the service to the people that work there and to keep that place running. So everybody that works there needs to buy a pair of jeans. They need to buy a suit and tie. They need to buy comfortable shoes. They need to buy. Those places follow the money. Business goes where business will succeed.
Right.
And when all of a sudden, this makes our town grow, and there are more people here to buy things, and they have money income that they can pay for things now. So that's the goal, and that's what we're attempting to provide to cover that gap. Spending the taxpayers' money wisely,
Sure.
always the first thing that we want to do. None of this involves taxpayer money. They didn't get a tax break. We didn't pay them to come here. They paid us because they want to be here. So they also will provide $500,000 a year to our local nonprofits. That's more than sponsoring a Little League team. That's more than buying a merchant picture. That's powerful money, and they've already been to town, and they're already meeting with Big Brothers, Big Sisters, and Hands to Hands, and several other Cafe Con Leche. They're meeting with those people about how they can help affect their organizations, because sometimes a check really helps.
It does.
Most times it does, especially the nonprofits. Sometimes, it's their employees.
Can't rely on that check,
No.
but when you get it, and
Maybe they have
you're doing the right
employees
things,
that'll help them. That'll volunteer time, that'll deliver Meals on Wheels. They want to be good community partners, which is why we're very excited about them being able to be here. So, you're smiling. Oh, my favorite song?
Yeah. And why is it you nasty?
It's not. I know that's your kid's favorite song.
It is.
I know.
My kids asked for the nasty song.
That's so funny.
Am I too loud?
It's a banger.
I told
It's
you,
a banger.
it's got that Limp Bizkit, Beastie Boy. It's that beat, that's the one. So,
Yeah, it's such a good
funny.
song, man.
now Roe is
Rose,
old classic.
is
All y'all songs are really, really good.
is outstanding. You Nasty
Yeah.
is probably that's a solid number 3, if not tied for number 2.
Yeah.
But yeah,
It's funny that you say "Am I too loud?" because you can ask these guys. Like, that's one of our older songs we've had for a long time. And as far as like playing songs goes, that's towards the bottom of songs that I enjoy playing.
yeah.
And I really didn't. I don't want to say that I don't like the song for a long time, but then we went and we recorded it the right way, and we got it mixed and mastered. And I was out there and I was working on a pool. So I did that for a little while, and I was like, I had my earphones in, and I was like,
I
this
like that.
rips.
Yeah.
Like, this is
Yeah.
it's
It's
so
a banger.
weird how it's like you kind of get out
Yeah.
out in front of it. And I've had other things where I play it and I feel like it's the coolest, most rocking thing I've ever done. And I listen to it back and I'm like, it's kind of lame. Like, you could do something way cooler than that, Like,
Hey,
it
I'm
goes
an
both
'80s. I
ways.
mean, I was
Have you-
through high school and college in the
Have
'80s.
you heard Wild Child?
Mm-mm.
That's the '80s ripper,
That's-
dude.
Okay.
We'll
That's
play
the
you some
80s.
tracks here
All right.
once,
That's the
once we
'80s
finish
ripper.
up.
Okay.
Let me find
That's funny.
a couple more.
Definitely not one of my favorites, but one to listen to. That's funny.
Here's the
That was a good
thing.
one.
Uh,
I hope I answered it.
Yeah, no,
Okay.
I love it.
Okay.
Part 2 to Peggy Sue York's
Yeah.
question. She asked the one about getting in writing. And da-da.
Yes.
Question 2 was, who's your favorite Downtown Royalty band member and why?
The
Why do
bass
you gotta
player.
pick
It's
one?
always the bass player.
Oh, I
Files.
don't know if
Shout
I'd
out-
say it's
shout out
always
Files.
the
Yeah,
best.
yeah.
Files.
Shout out Styles.
Because bass players never get love, right? We
Yeah.
talked about
He
it
does.
when he answered the door, when he
Yeah.
let me in. Y'all
Yeah.
made him answer the door.
I didn't even
You know?
I don't know what you're talking about.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah.
Files.
Files.
He's
yeah.
in there
Yes.
watching.
Yeah.
He gets a coin too, though. So.
He had Files had something
Yeah.
that he had a question he wanted to mention too. He said, "Make sure to mention that if there are any questions we missed, go to your city hall meetings and speak up. Change doesn't happen behind the keyboard."
Yeah.
Just like this,
Yeah.
it seems like there's been a lot of misinformation out there, and people think that it's one thing, and it's like, look, just ask me, I'll tell you the truth.
Right.
I'm not trying to hide anything from you. That's what those meetings are for.
This is a conversation. It's not a deposition. So if I
Yeah.
said if
Yeah.
I said 51 million and it's 48 million, or I'm sorry,
Yeah.
but the facts are the facts, and and that leads me back to the mall always. Nothing's changed.
Right.
People say, we didn't. You had a contract with a developer and they backed out. No, we didn't. That would be silly. We were not in contract. We had a lot of interest from buyers that wanted in, some that were
Right.
that we're still very interested in talking to. But once again, with the taxpayer money, this is taxpayer money that's invested in this mall. we have to do our diligence and we have to talk to everybody that's wanting.
Yeah.
I've had 2 people this last week who have contacted me that are coming on site because they want to see the mall. One guy's coming from Arizona and bringing his CEO because they do this, and the one guy has seen it, but his boss hasn't. So he's bringing him out here to go through and actually walk through the place. So they know the price.
Yeah.
I mean, they know
Yeah.
what's going on, and they're coming out here to see it. So we have more interest than we can almost handle. So
Yeah. RW Payton 1010 on YouTube said,
Ah.
get that newly appointed cultural affairs minister some business cards ASAP. So Mayor Short, I'll need some business cards.
I'll pay for them. Yeah. Hey.
Cultural minister.
Yeah.
Wichita Falls.
Culture. You know?
Yeah. And I did not comment on that.
He didn't.
But,
that was all me, baby.
But that was all you.
That was all me. And as a proud member of Downtown Royalty and a proud citizen of Wichita Falls, I stand by every single fucking thing I said. Basically, I mean, that's about all we got. Clint Jensen on Facebook said that we are ignorant and gullible. Thanks, brother. He just said, yes, you are, but I know what he's
He's a
referring
goober.
He's a goober.
We'll see you out there. We know
he's a
Clint.
goober.
Yeah.
I mean, that's all that we have for you, man. Just to take a second to talk to anyone who's listening, to anyone that's viewed in to this podcast and listen to a Mayor Short talk. My hope for everyone that's been listening to this is, let's be solutions oriented instead of going on rants and raves and bitching and pissing and moaning, and instead of fucking complaining and saying, he didn't say what I wanted him to say, he's lying. Man, come up with solutions, be a productive citizen, be a productive member of our society, and help move things forward. You don't have to agree with everything that he said. By God, you shouldn't. That's why there's a whole marketplace of ideas. Disagree all you want, but stand up, say something, be a part of the solution, and that's what we're trying to do. We're just trying to help push things forward. I don't have a political dog in the hunt.
Right.
I don't really, give a shit one way or the other. Man, I'm a fucking knuckle dragger. I'm a drummer, dude. This is what I do. I just love listening to people talk. I'm blissfully
talk to real people,
ignorant sometimes about some of the things that are going on, and good, because then we could have people like you or Sam Pack, different people come in and enlighten us.
And the last thing, because I mean I'm sure we're losing people left and right, but the last thing that I could think about is when did we all have? At what point did we all just have to agree? And if and you know what? Yeah. If you don't agree with the way that I hear it or say it, you're a liar. You're corrupt. You're taking money under the table. You have no integrity. I'm gonna ruin your business. I'm gonna do everything I can. I'm gonna call. I'm gonna do this on Facebook. I'm gonna say crazy things about you. Why? Why can't somebody just go, hey, I don't really agree with that project.
Like that.
Yeah,
that doesn't make any sense to me, and I don't,
Can we talk about it?
My research shows, maybe something different.
Yeah.
But what happened to those days, and why can't we? I've been married to the same wonderful woman for 35 years, and we agree on about 87% of most things.
Yeah.
And I love her.
Yeah.
So why do I
13% conversations can be the most fun sometimes,
Yeah.
Well,
why do I have to agree 100% with you?
Right.
I'm sure we don't.
Right.
But why do I have to, or else I'm the devil?
Yeah.
That's trying. I want to ruin everything. My family lives here. My granddaughter's drinking that water.
By choice, not because you made them.
I have
Your niche.
I know.
Yeah.
I have a business here that I've had for 30 years. I'm very interested in what's going on here and making this city grow.
So are
for everybody.
Right.
So
I
are
don't
we.
care what side you live on. It does not matter. I talk about it's the community, and the rising tide lifts all of our boats. We'll all drive to where these jobs are.
Sure.
It doesn't matter where you live to get to them. So, but we don't always have to agree on everything. That's not a standard I set for myself. So it's really frustrating when people apply that standard to the city council or to me or to anybody else.
Yeah.
You shouldn't do that to your own family,
Right.
much less somebody else.
Yeah.
So if you don't like somebody, don't vote for them, and don't you can disagree with a project or with an idea that they have, but it doesn't mean that they're evil.
Right.
So,
well, like I tell my wife,
know.
it's like, hey man, friction implies movement.
Yeah. Oh,
So this is a good thing.
right.
It's good to have friction. It's good to have problems that need to be solved. Because if we just agreed on everything, well, where's the fun in that?
Right.
Where's the truth in that? Where's progression in that? It's nowhere to be found.
Yeah.
So let's disagree, but let's
Amen.
disagree honorably. Let's have discussions. Which leads me to my next thing. Management at downtownroyalty.com. If anyone is interested, send us an email. We're always open to have a conversation with anyone. Garbage man, mayor,
Everybody.
HVAC dude, fellow musicians, whoever it might be.
Cultural ambassador of Wichita Falls.
We want to talk to people that are marching in the same direction that we are.
Yeah.
I think I'm an intern with the band now.
That's right.
Yeah, I get the triangle.
He's a tech.
We're gonna see you.
I
You're
want the
gonna show up and be like,
cowbell.
"Welcome to Cultural Ambassador of Wichita Falls, Mr.
Right.
Tim Shaw."
I get to be the cowbell.
The way I always see it is like Matthew McConaughey just like labeled himself the cultural ambassador of Austin, and so it's like, well, why can't I do that?
We got one of those too.
Why can't we do that? You know, I mean,
Yeah, I know. It's okay.
This city is it's a great city, but they need a little bit of crazy, So
I kind of want to
they,
take Matthew McConaughey's philosophy class over at Texas.
yeah, he's a cool
Be
guy.
interesting.
Yeah. But that's it. This city needs people like you. It needs people like us, and it needs everyone to step up and stand up and just do the next right thing and push this city forward.
Yeah.
I'm thankful you came on.
Yeah,
Do you
thanks
have
for being
anything
here.
else? Anything else you want to ask us? Any questions you have for us, or anything?
We'll probably
you want
sit
to put out
around
there?
and shoot the breeze for a
Yeah.
minute, listen to some more music. You're
would
showing
love
some
it.
stuff before we started.
I'm happy to. I appreciate the opportunity. It's authentic. It's raw. And like I said, it's a conversation. It's not a deposition.
No.
It's it shows where we all stand and what we're all trying to do is move this city forward.
Chips
So
and salsa next time.
yeah.
Chips and salsa? Dude, that's not a bad idea. A little guacamole, dude.
Yeah.
Guacamole.
A little
We'll take this
guacamole.
show on the road, man. Get out there.
It's a healthy conversation, and it's a good way to get the information out.
That's right.
Yeah. Hopefully, I haven't killed your viewership and ruined your demographic.
Brother, you couldn't kill our viewership any more than I can. I'll take that much right. We're two gullible, ignorant men.
Who's the old guy?
That's right.
Yeah. I
This
appreciate
guy's
it.
just leaving everything he's telling him.
I know.
Yeah.
Yeah, just lapping it up. I really
Yeah.
appreciate it. No, you
Yeah.
followed up good, and thank you for the opportunity.
Of course.
We appreciate
Yeah,
you being here, and
anytime.
thanks for being a part of our city, and
Yeah.
for we've been here for a little while as well. It's been really neat to see, since you've kind of taken over and filled the role that you did, how it seems like you're everywhere. This is a Friday, or what are we?
Friday.
Yeah, it's Friday night now, and you're choosing to spend your time here
Yeah.
talking with us. And this, I know you from around the city, and this and that was the first time I've ever got to shake your hand and spend some time investing in you as well. And we appreciate you doing the same with us and the city that we live in. That's really important. That's really impactful. And I think that I speak for the entire city when we say thank you for what you've done so far, and for believing in this city and not just kind of sitting over there and choosing to be on a board and just ho-humming about everything. Well, it's always been like this, so it's always going to be like this. Like, you need some of that, but you also need some change and some people that are willing to get out there. And I call it, shaking hands and kissing babies. And that's the best way to do it. It's just genuine. No,
right.
not that way.
You don't wanna
That's a
mix it
different
up.
job right
They
there.
get upset.
But
Yeah.
no, thank you
You're
for being so proactive in everything you're doing and having the vision that you do, and we're happy to march right alongside you in the direction we're going, fighting a good fight.
Yeah.
When's your next show?
Uh,
Locally.
Where
are we playing?
May.
I think we're playing in May. We're going to the studio next,
Yeah.
so that's kind of been our main focus.
Yeah.
We're going
We're
back. to
definitely
see-
doing the summer concert series this year.
That's,
Okay.
Yeah,
Late
that's
May.
the one.
Yeah.
At Weeks Park?
Bud
Daniels.
Daniels Park.
Bud Daniels.
I
Okay.
think that's
All
the
right.
fourth
Yeah.
time, maybe
May
fifth
26th.
time, May
May
26th at
Okay.
Bud Daniels Park.
Okay.
That's something we look forward to every single year, and everybody at the city is such a pleasure to work with when we do that kind of stuff. Cindy out there and everybody is just, it's tremendous. There's, I think so many people are intimidated to be like, oh, that's the mayor, I don't want to call him. And kind of even the same thing on our podcast. We're like, well, who should we get? And like, let's get the mayor. That'd be really cool.
Yeah.
Talk some impactful. And we were
Aim
like,
low.
do you think we could? You know,
Look
we
what
call it
happened.
aiming high.
Yeah.
But like,
Now he won't leave.
right now we're hanging out, spending all Friday night together. You know, but make those phone calls.
Maybe come sit back in and kind of give an update on some stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, we
Yep.
absolutely love to have you back on for
And
sure.
we hope to see you at some of the city council meetings.
Yeah.
We'll be out
Yeah.
there as well, kind of
Yeah.
checking out everything with that
That's
because
awesome.
we're a part of this community
Yeah,
too. You know,
for
it
sure.
takes all of us to make this work, and
Those meetings are a lot of fun.
They're
sometimes,
fun.
You know, so yeah.
you know, it's not just when things are going good.
It's
the
America.
good times.
Yeah.
It is.
Everybody gets a shot.
And we're lucky that we get to have those kind of opportunities to speak our mind and to be upset about something, because so many of those things, people come in, they're so mad, and you're like, thank you for telling me you're mad.
Sure.
Now
Yeah.
I know where to start.
Yeah.
You know, and that gives us all a jumping off point. I know
Yes.
we've said it a million times. Thank you. We appreciate it.
You-
And it's been nothing but a
I
pleasure.
appreciate the opportunity,
Yep.
man.
And anyone watching on Facebook, YouTube, if you haven't liked, subscribe, share this. There's a lot of people who've been asking a lot of questions. I think that there's an answer for everyone here, whether you like it or not, or agree or not. This has been a long form interview conversation. I'll say, not even an interview. There's an answer for everything that I have seen. There's been an answer for everything that anyone has really asked. There's been a lot of duplicates, so they were basically all rolled into one for that. But like, subscribe, share this. If you disagree with this, that's fine. Tell us you disagree with it.
Yeah.
Let us know. And more importantly, like I said, just do the next right thing and be a productive member of society. With that,
Amen.
Thanks, Tim. for being
adios.
on.
Thank you, Mayor Short, and
We'll see you